Right. What are we doing? We do a 5-minute pregame, right?
Sure.
Yeah. We gotta go.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let me find my phone really quick just so that I can communicate with Nick. Now I seem to have left it somewhere.
By the pizza? Did you put it down to get your pizza?
No, it's right here.
Okay.
Got it. We're good. Okay. We'll call him real quick and then we'll go.
Okay, we're going on air. We ready?
I'm going to just let him know.
Okay.
If he doesn't pick up, I'm going to go upstairs and punch him. Hey, we're going to go with the pregame, so you just keep it focused right there on the middle of the field, okay? Yeah, all right, bye. Okay, this is pregame script.
It was in order when I gave it to you.
Here we go. When you're ready. You mark in, count me down.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com. It's the PlayOnSports.com pregame show live from Viking Stadium, in Lakeland, Florida. I'm Nick Grunowitz with Earl McDonald on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. And tonight's matchup features the visiting Evangelical Christian Sentinels against the host Lakeland Christian Vikings. The Evangelical Christian comes into tonight's game with an overall record of 0-2, while the home team, Lakeland Christian, is 1-1. As we welcome you to the broadcast, we thank you once again for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com. And Earl, we'll get you in on this one. These two teams, playing in a game that is a grudge match for the home team here tonight.
Absolutely. Last year, ECS beat them on their home field 54-28. But this year, Lakeland Christian has a heck of an offensive attack behind their quarterback, Christian Alexander, who already holds a host of school records for passing, even though he's just a sophomore. And they've got a running back in Raphael Presley, who's averaging almost 9 yards a carry in the first two games.
Well, the home team, Lakeland Christian, the Vikings, they're 1-1. They'll be wearing blue and white tonight. The win in the first week of the year, 48-7 versus Bradenton Christian. They're coming off a tough 35-0 drubbing at the hands of Clearwater Christian. And, well, Earl, it, of course, all rests on the shoulders of the sophomore quarterback, a quarterback that has been sensational. He's set school marks. But this Lakeland Christian school, they're missing their star running back as well.
Absolutely. They had a running back who ran for just shy of 1,500 yards and 20 TDs last year. And in the first game of the season, I believe it was a preseason game, he tore his ACL and he's out for the year.
Well, on the other side, Evangelical Christian, they're the Sentinels. They'll be wearing red and white tonight. They're 0-2. A couple of very close games, Earl. It's the exact definition of you're a couple of plays away from being 2-0, frankly.
Right. They lost their first game 21-14, and they lost last week 13-7. So they've definitely been in the hunt for both these games, and they are a very, very good football team as well.
The loss is 21-14 to Community School of Naples, and most recently on September 7th, 13-7 to LaBelle. They're under the direction of head coach Brian Lynch. Lakeland Christian, under the direction of Wayne Peace. And while this Lakeland school, they're returning quite a few players, both 7 on the offense and the defense, including that star quarterback.
Absolutely. They've got returning starters all over the field. They also have 3 linemen that are all in excess of 280 pounds and all at least 6'2". So they've got a lot of size on the line protecting those returning starters.
Those are some big boys, Earl. You and I are both from the Tampa Bay area where the University of South Florida is, and they could have used those 3 last night to protect B.J. Daniels.
They certainly could have used a little offensive line help.
So it's a little grudge match here as Lakeland Christian School looks to avenge a big loss last year to Evangelical Christian. That coming up in just a moment. That's going to do it for tonight's PlayOnSports.com pregame show. We'll be back with the kickoff in just a few minutes. Friday Night Football begins next on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP. We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonssports.com/SBP.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Alright, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonssports.com/SBP.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Alright, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonssports.com/SBP.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Alright, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonssports.com/SBP.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Alright, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonssports.com/SBP.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Alright, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonssports.com/SBP.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Alright, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonssports.com/SBP.
We can get a player up.
Welcome back to Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com. Coming to you live from Lakeland, Florida. I'm Nick Grunowitz with Earl McDonald on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Tonight's matchup features the 0-2 Evangelical Christian Sentinels visiting the 1-1 Lakeland Christian Vikings. As we welcome you back into the broadcast once again, thank you for joining us. We're just about ready for kickoff here at Viking Stadium. And Earl, of course, we talked about the matchup between these two teams. Evangelical Christian, a 54-0 win last year at home against Lakeland Christian. The Vikings have something to play for here, and maybe a lot of it is pride.
Absolutely. Whenever you give up 54 points to an opponent, even on the road, you're not very happy about it. The proverbial half a hundy, as it's known colloquially, is not something that you're going to soon forget, and I'm sure this balanced attack from Lakeland is going to try and match that number for themselves this year.
Well, to kick things off for Lakeland Christian is, looks like number 11, Livingston Bolaris will kick it away. As we're set to get things going for Evangelical Christian. Evangelical Christian will kick it away. Riley Escal will kick it away. And as we're ready to get things going here, back to return, Raphael Presley for the Vikings. He waits on the near side at about his own 12-yard line as the kick comes up, and it is a pooch kick. It goes off of Lakeland Christian, and there's a dog pile on top of it at midfield. So already head coach Brian Lynch tries to pull something out there, and the Sentinels go with the onside kick. But it looks to me like Lakeland Christian was able to recover it. That one almost disastrous to start off the game for the Vikings.
Yeah, it looks like ECS came out of the gate with a trick play on the opening kickoff, running they had their regular kicker run up but not kick it, and then had another gentleman kick the ball as an onside kick, but they weren't able to recover it. Unfortunately for them, that means that this high-powered Lakeland offense is going to get the ball just shy of midfield.
And starting quarterback Christian Alexander will get things started. He starts off in the gun with Raphael Presley standing to his left. 2 wide receivers split out to the left as well as Alexander's ready to get things started. 1st and 10 from midfield. And here's the snap. Quick throw near sideline. That's White who catches. He gets to the outside, across midfield, inside the 45, and pushed to the near side. He reverses field down, has some room, and is taken down after losing 2 of the yards he had originally gotten at the ECH 42-yard line, or just about, make it the 43-yard line. But right there, White reversing field had a chance, had to beat one man. It was probably a touchdown after that.
Yeah, White had a lot of speed, but Nathaniel Webb for ECS made a great open field tackle, and he was the only man left to stop him.
And here comes Alexander again, set up in the gun, as Presley standing to his right, and 3 wide receivers with a tight end a step back of the line. And here's the snap. Give to Presley. Up the middle he goes. Picks up a block and barrels forward inside of the 40. They'll mark him right at the 40. That's a first down for the Vikings, who are moving right to left. They're in the blue and white jerseys with blue helmets and black pants. Evangelical Christian, the Sentinels, they're 0-2. They're in white jerseys, black pants, red striping on those pants with red helmets. So after the first down, the Vikings looking to continue to push their way down the field. We're just underway here, 11 minutes left in the first quarter. And Alexander setting up in the gun once again. 3 wideouts and 3 wideouts for the Vikings, 4 defensive backs for the Sentinels. Presley to the right of Alexander. Here's the snap. Once again to Presley. Up the middle he goes. He fights forward. That's for 2. And sets up 2nd down and 8 for the Vikings.
Yeah, that was another run to Presley, and I think we're going to see a lot of him in place of the injured Simmons. Over the first 2 games, he's averaging almost 9 yards a carry as a running back, so we're going to see a steady diet of him.
Well, that definitely makes 2nd and 3rd down quite manageable when your running back is averaging 8.5, a little more than that yards a carry. As here's Alexander in the gun again with 2 wide receivers, and Presley to the left of the sophomore quarterback. The snap. Pressure from the right side, lob throw, right side, inside of the 30. It's caught inside the 25 and towards inside of the 20 goes the wide receiver. And there's a late flag on the field. That catch made by the Vikings by Brad Peace, the 5'11", 170-pound wide receiver.
Yeah, he's also the head coach's son, and he's the youngest son of the Peace family. The other 2 are already in college.
We'll have to see what the call is down there. The ball should be on the 18-yard line unless they bring it back. We'll let the referee crew talk it over and then let us know in a moment exactly where it is. It's going to be a spot penalty as the referee paces this one off. So it will be a first down for the Vikings. They haven't told us what it was. It was a block in the back. So a block in the back for the Vikings moves the ball back, but it's still a first down, because the block in the back is placed at the spot of the foul.
Right.
So 1st and 10 for the Vikings.
Yeah, the illegal block must have happened after he'd already reached the first down.
Ball in the Sentinels 28, and Alexander in the gun. Here's the snap. Play action. No pardon. They hand it to the back running left side. Presley fighting to the outside. Inside the 20 he barrels. Outside the numbers, and that's a first down by a yard, it should be, for the Vikings. And early on here, Lakeland Christian looking very strong through the air, but mostly on the ground with Presley.
Yeah, they've mixed it up nicely. It's probably one of the few balanced offensive attacks we've seen this season in high school football, but they've mixed up the run and the pass very well.
Alexander back in the gun, 20 touchdown passes last year as a true freshman.
Yeah, and not bad. Also a school record.
As he sets up in the gun here with 3 wide receivers. And here's the snap. They give it to Presley once again. Up the middle he goes and gets inside of the 15. maybe right at the 15 make it. It's a 3-yard carry. It sets up second down and 8. So a 2-yard carry make it 9:19 left in the first quarter. We're scoreless. The Vikings with the opening drive of the game here. They started at midfield after Evangelical Christian tried for a surprise onside kick to start off the game. It did not work out for head coach Brian Lynch there. As Alexander is set up in the gun, here's 3 wide receivers with Presley to his left. The ball's on the left hash. The snap. 3-step drop. Alexander throws this one to the right side, and it's off the hands and incomplete. And that's going to give us second down and 10. That one intended for number 8, Christian for number 9, Leroy DeShazer, and there is a late flag. We'll have to see what the referee's call is here on this one. It was a very late flag tossed in there at the last moment.
Yeah, I'm worried it may be a personal foul against the home team.
And it looks to be that as they're pacing the ball off. This should set the ball, if it is a personal foul, right at the 30-yard line. It was on the 15. And that'll set up just about second and 22, pardon. So, yes, a personal foul on the Vikings. 8:54 left in the first quarter. And 3rd and 23 for the Vikings. And this is where you need a quarterback like Christian Alexander.
Yeah, I would keep my eyes on number 5, Lorenz DeShazer. He's the favorite target.
3 wide receivers. 3rd down and 23. Here's the snap. Under pressure, Alexander throws it off to the back. This is Presley with the catch. Fighting to the outside of the numbers. Inside of the 20 he goes. And it's off to the races to the far sideline. And into the end zone goes Raphael Presley. And there's a touchdown as they ring the horns. It's 6-0. Lakeland Christian as the Vikings take the opening drive down the field and into the end zone. On 2nd down and 23, they get the touchdown.
Yeah, it's a little bit unusual for high school football for you to see a screen like that. That's usually a little more common in college and the NFL. But when you've got backs like Presley and 3 huge linemen that can pull out there and block for you, that's an excellent play when it's 2nd and long.
So a 30-yard touchdown catch for Presley gives us the first score of the game, and the extra point is up. And right down the middle by Grady Sharp. And that's 7-0. The Vikings lead the Sentinels here with 8:44 left in the first quarter. So the Vikings early here setting the stage, setting the tone.
Yeah, they did exactly what we thought they would do. They came out and run a beautiful balanced offense with several pass plays and several great runs by Presley, and ended up with the screen pass to Presley that went all the way for the touchdown at the end.
So 8:44 left in the first quarter. It's 7-0 Vikings over the Sentinels after that 30-yard touchdown catch for Raphael Presley, the 5'10", 165-pound junior.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the Play on Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
8:44 left in the first quarter. It's 7-0 Vikings over the Sentinels. After the Vikings have a 50-yard drive capped by a 30-yard touchdown catch by Raphael Presley, and now Evangelical Christian will get their first drive of the game. They'll move from left to right upon receiving. And Sharp will kick this one away after banging the extra point through. So Sharp ready to go. He'll kick it from his own 40, and this is a high pooch kick to the near sideline, and that one's caught at the 30, and the receiver cutting up the right side of the numbers is taken down. That was Riley Escali, who got maybe a yard. But both teams not kicking it towards the end zone, giving the other team an opportunity to have some space. They kicked it short and kept the yardage where it was. It'll be 1st down and 10 for Evangelical Christian from their own 32.
Yeah, hard to know if it's gamesmanship or if both teams are concerned about the threat by the return men from the other side.
So Evangelical Christian will get started here, and Carson Perlman, the 6'3" sophomore quarterback, will start off with the ball on the right hash. The running back, number 20, Chris Caesar, will stand to his right, and there's 3 wide receivers down there as well for Perlman, who sets up in the gun. 7-0 Vikings. The Sentinels looking to answer that 50-yard drive that led off the game. And now you see Presley lined up as a defensive back on the near sideline here as well. And Perlman set up in the gun. He'll put one in motion to the left side. That's Ascali, and he'll throw it out to Ascali. Makes the catch, cuts around one defender, falls forward, and that play is going to go for a loss of 2 yards. They'll mark him down at the 30. Sets up 2nd and 12 with 8:29 left in the first quarter. And you saw Ascali go in motion there, but just didn't have the spacing, not enough blocking upfield.
Yeah, it was a good pass, and it was a good completion, but they weren't able to get anywhere on that motion pass play.
Clock continues to run, 8:12 left in the first quarter, and Perlman in the gun with 3 wide receivers. He gives it the back up the middle he goes, and falling forward, it looks like Caesar got back to the original line of scrimmage. Maybe he just got one. Regardless, it's 3rd down. He did get back to the original line of scrimmage. 10 to go for the Sentinels, who are still looking for their first win of the year. 0-2 are the Sentinels after back-to-back tough losses, very close games to start off the season. Lakeland Christian, the Vikings, the home team in this one, they're 1-1 coming off a 35-0 loss, looking to bounce back from that. As Perlman sets up in the gun, 3rd and 10 from his own 32, and here's the snap. Lob near sideline, that ball is caught past the 35 and just short of the 40. A very nice open field tackle by Livingston Bolaris in the open field to stop the wide receiver, and a punt most likely coming for Evangelical Christian.
Yeah, it was a great catch by Brady Borkowski, but he just wasn't able to get quite enough yardage with that great tackle to get the first down.
So it's 4th and 4 for Evangelical Christian, and a punt is coming. And it looks like Riley Ascali, who will be back to punt it. He will, with his heels on his own 24-yard line. And back to return, Raphael Presley. Why not? Running back, defensive back. Pardon that. Make it Jordan White who's back there. Snap is up. The kick is high in the air, and it's a short, wobbly one to the near sideline. That ball is out of bounds. It lands right at the 45 and skips this way. And where are they going to mark it? Right at the 35, of Lakeland Christian. So 6:36 left in the first quarter. The Vikings with a 7-0 lead over the Sentinels, looking to extend it here. As the starting quarterback will come back in, Christian Alexander, 6'3", 210-pound sophomore quarterback. This kid hasn't done growing yet. Still already 6'3", 210 pounds. He's going to end up quite a prospect, you'd have to think, when he ends his career here at Lakeland Christian.
Absolutely. If he grows a little bit more, he could be the size of Cam Newton by the time he's a senior.
Alexander sets up in the gun with 2 wide receivers split out to the right. And Presley standing to his right as well. And here's the snap. And it's kept by Alexander, rolling right side, throws it out to the flat. It's caught. Past the 40 to the 45. Across midfield goes the receiver. Sheds a tackler and is finally tripped up inside of the 45-yard line of Lakeland Christian. That was Jordan White with the catch. And right there, Christian Alexander showing the threat of his legs, faked the run and threw it out to the flat. And that worked out very well for Jordan White, who got the first down and more.
He did, and once again, the balanced attack and the threat in all facets of the game from Lakeland Christian is going to be very, very difficult for ECS to counter today.
And Alexander sets back up in the gun, 2 wide receivers this time to the left side, and Brad Peace on the outside at the near sideline on your screen. As Alexander sets up 1st and 10 from the Sentinel 45, and they give us to Presley, trying to get to the outside, and he is taken down and pushed down hard by Carson Perlman. It's the starting quarterback and a linebacker as well. And that play goes for a loss of 1. It's 2nd and 11. And It looked to me like Raphael Presley had a hole there, just didn't take it, tried to get all the way to the outside.
Yeah, it was a bit of a draw, but he ran hard to the left. But Carson Perlman was able to make a great tackle all by himself. And both teams have great size at quarterback, which is why they're able to counter as linebackers as well.
5:58 left in the first quarter. A timeout called here. It's 7-0 Vikings over the Sentinels here at Viking Stadium.
Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
And we do thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com alongside Earl McDonald. I'm Nick Grunowitz. We're here at Viking Stadium in Lakeland, Florida on the campus of Lakeland Christian High School. They're hosting the Evangelical Christian Sentinels, 7-0 Vikings. And in the gun is Alexander, 2nd and 11 from the Evangelical Christian 46. And here's the snap. 3-step drop, throw to the left side. That ball is dropped incomplete through the hands of Lorenz DeShazer, and a very nice pass breakup by the defensive back there. That looked like Kyle Biggerstaff who made the play.
It might have been Deshaun Gary, but whoever it was,
Gary.
They made a great play to reach that right hand in without committing a pass interference and just get a finger on that ball.
3rd and 11 for Lakeland Christian, who looked unstoppable in their first drive. They've stalled out just a bit here as Alexander sets up in the gun with 3 wide receivers and a back standing to his left. Here's the snap. Here's a throw to the right side. That ball is caught. The receiver hit and pulled down. That was Peace who's pulled down just short of the first down marker. That sets up 4th down and a lengthy 2, maybe 3 for Lakeland Christian High School. And the ball placed at the ECH 37-38 yard line.
Yeah, it looks like Christian Alexander threw that ball just a half step behind Brad Peace, and unfortunately that's what cost him the first down. Their forward progress might have gotten him there if he'd have thrown it perfect, but when we're nitpicking something that small, the quarterback's having a great day so far.
And Evangelical Christian will get a chance to talk things over defensively. Lakeland Christian calls the timeout. They have 2 remaining in the first half. It's 7-0. The Vikings lead the Sentinels, and a decision coming for head coach Wayne Peace. He has a 4th down and 3 on the Sentinels' 38-yard line. Still early in the game, but if you are the Vikings, you lost 54-0 to this team last year. You're sitting at 1-1. You don't want to go to 1-2. It might behoove you to maybe push the envelope early.
It might, and they're in perfect field position to go for it on 4th down. Even if they lost and got no yards, ECS would still be getting the ball behind their own 40, so you're really only yielding a few yards over the typical starting field position of the 20 or 25.
And Christian Alexander breaks back out of the timeout. It looks like Lakeland Christian is going to go for it. If you're Evangelical Christian here, you want to make sure you don't come off sides. But behind center is Alexander for the first time, and he's going to give the ball, pardon on a play action, looking deep. Alexander avoids the rush. He's going to keep it himself. Inside of the 35, he goes to the far sideline, inside the 20, to the 10, to the 5. That's a touchdown for the Vikings. 13-0. The Sentinels lead a 38-yard touchdown rush for sophomore quarterback Christian Alexander. That was sensational to get to the outside and then just exploded and blew by everybody.
Yeah, for him to be 6'3", 210 and still have that much speed makes him a very, very difficult quarterback to defend against.
So a 38-yard touchdown rush by Alexander. And here comes the extra point. The kick is up, and it is good. That extra point by Grady Sharp. 14-0 Vikings over the Sentinels with 4:59 left in the first quarter here at Viking Stadium. And we might have a rout right here early on. It seems that the Vikings have the Sentinels number early.
They do so far. That offense has proved too much for the ECS Sentinels to stop yet. And really, I'm not sure how they're going to slow them down at this point, because anybody they pick on to stop, Lakeland's got another weapon on the other side of the field or behind the quarterback or somewhere else that they can get them with.
And the Vikings coming in with some high energy in this game. They're playing like they have had a bad taste in their mouth, which they did. A 35-0 loss on September 7th. That was last week against Clearwater Christian High School. They had only 99 passing yards in that entire game as well, and 20 rushing yards. For a little over a yard a carry, Clearwater Christian just dominated that game on the scoreboard and all around the field.
Yeah, and after seeing this offense, I would be very, very afraid of that school's defense, because this offense looks fantastic. Any defense that can hold them that well is probably going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Sharp will kick it away, and back to return for ECS are the Sentinels as they're ready to go here. Sharp will kick it from his own 40. 4:59 left in the first quarter. Vikings with a 14-0 lead over the Sentinels. And Sharp getting himself paced off and ready to go here at Viking Stadium. Here comes the kick. It's a high, booming one all the way back towards the far side of the sideline. That one's received by Burkowski. He's going to take it up the far sideline, finds a seam past the 30, to the 35 or the 40, cuts back to the outside, sheds the tackler, and he's going to keep going inside of the 30 to the 20. He's going to go all the way to the goal line, and that is a big return for the Sentinels, getting them back into this one. It's 14-6. Brady Borkowski with the return.
Yeah, he went all the way up the left sideline. He beat the big group, and then there were just two men left for him to beat, and he was able to beat both of them. He almost got tackled. He shook a few steps, but he regained his balance and streaked up the sideline for the touchdown.
There was a defender that had a full handful of jersey, and Borkowski was able to shed him. That was very impressive. And once he got to just about midfield, it was very clear he was going to go all the way. That was a 90-yard-plus return for Borkowski, who it looked to me was maybe thinking about letting that one drop and either roll into the end zone or out of bounds, but instead he takes it for a touchdown, and the Sentinels are on the board as Riley Iscali will kick this one in for the extra point. 4:44 left, and just like that, it's a 1-point difference. And this kick is blocked by Lakeland Christian. That's their third block kick of the season. So just like that, the Sentinels will come away with just 6 on that return. It's 14-6 Vikings over the Sentinels here with 4:44 left in the first quarter. But this special teams, we were talking about it before the game, Earl, very special for Lakeland Christian.
Yeah, that completes the set for them. They've got now a blocked field goal, a blocked punt, and now a blocked extra point on the season in just their third game so far.
So after the kick return for a touchdown, we'll see Christian Alexander, the 6'3", 210-pound sophomore starting quarterback, back into the game after the kick. And Jordan White and Raphael Presley are in to return this kick. The last time that Evangelical Christian kicked the ball away, that was opening up the game, and they tried to surprise the Vikings with an onside kick. That didn't work out. The Vikings took it at midfield and took it all the way into the end zone. A couple of plays later, when Presley caught a 30-yard touchdown. The other touchdown for Lakeland Christian was on a 38-yard quarterback keeper that Alex Christian ran up the far sideline and got into the end zone. So it's 14-6 Vikings over the Sentinels, but Brady Borkowski keeping Evangelical Christian in this game with that huge kickoff return for a touchdown. As the kick is coming from Riley Iscali, 6'2" junior, and he's going to kick this one. Another onside kick. That ball bounces. It's loose through the hands of a couple players, and 3 or 4 fall on it. And there's going to be a dog pile here, and the referees are going to have to try to discern who actually has possession. And it's going to be Lakeland Christian. So once again, Evangelical Christian rolls the dice, and they come up empty as the Vikings are able to fall on it. But that one very close. There is a player down on the field. That's number 13, Brent Brenneman, the sophomore, and the trainers are going to take a look at him. But that onside kick squibbed through a couple of different hands.
Yeah, it looks like it may not have been gamesmanship so much by the coaches. It may be that both these coaches are terrified of the return specialists for the other side.
And we've already seen one huge play, now 2 plays, on special teams, a block kick and a kickoff return for a touchdown by Brady Borkowski. And with a player down here on the field, we're going to step aside and let them take that one away in just a moment here. But with 4:44 left, the Vikings have a 14-6 lead over the Sentinels. This is the third game for both these teams. Lakeland Christian is 1-1. Evangelical Christian is 0-2.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're going to come at you.
One shot at this.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're going to come at you.
One shot at this.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
We bring you back into the broadcast where it's 14-6. The Vikings lead the Sentinels. Vikings with the football, 1st and 10 on their own 45. And we'll update you on the injury in just a moment. As Christian Alexander in the gun gets the snap, hand to the back, up the middle he goes, finds his seam across midfield. Inside of the 40 he goes before being pulled down from behind. That was a touchdown-saving tackle by Brady Borkowski. And Raphael Presley continues to be impressive in this game. But before the next play, an update. Brent Brenneman was removed from the field on the injury cart and is currently being taken, I would think, to someone who can give him a hand, to medical personnel. He appeared to be in quite a bit of pain, but was helped off the field. They needed the cart to get him off. It's 1st and 10 for Lakeland Christian in a move on the outside of the defensive line. That was number 63 for Evangelical Christian, Nathan Webb, the defensive lineman who moved early. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty. Pardon that. They're going to call that against Lakeland Christian. I thought ECH moved early. But instead, it was LCH that moved. And Alexander, 1st and 15 from the Sentinels' 42. And here's the snap. 3-step drop pressure coming. Throw a lob down the near sideline. That one is incomplete. In fact, nobody in the vicinity really there. That had to have been either a missed call, some miscommunication, or Alexander just wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah, I think that was a miscommunication with DeShazor. He is his favorite target, and I think DeShazor came inside, and I think Alexander thought he was going to post out to the outside by the sideline.
4:14 left in the first quarter. And it's 14-6. The Vikings lead the Sentinels. Alexander in the huddle. The Vikings at one point in time led 14-0, but then Brady Borkowski took a kickoff all the way back for a touchdown. The extra point was blocked, but the Sentinels did get on the board as Alexander's behind center. Strong eye, play action. Rolling out right side as Alexander throws this one on the run. It's caught at the 30 and crossing midfield, down to the near sideline. The receiver, this is White, inside the 10 to the 5. He goes running to the left, and that's a touchdown. The Vikings up 20-6 here with 3:59 left. In the first quarter, Jordan White just would not be denied there, and he gets a 42-yard touchdown reception.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a pass play. It was only went about 10 yards in the air, but Jordan White took it and just would not be denied. He denied every man that tried to tackle him, got past him, and eventually cut back across the field to his left and scored the touchdown.
Sharp on for the extra point. So Lakeland Christian responds and answers the kickoff return for a touchdown by Brady Borkowski with a 42-yard touchdown pass from sophomore quarterback Christian Alexander to senior wide receiver Jordan White. And with that, it's 21-6 after the extra point. The Vikings lead the Sentinels, and once again, Lakeland Christian showing that they're a very dangerous team in the open field after the catch or after first contact, whether it's a reception or a run.
Yeah, I have no idea how Lakeland Christian was held scoreless last week. This offense looks phenomenal. It looks very difficult to stop, very balanced. They've been able to run shotgun plays, play action, screens, traditional passes. They've really run almost every play that's typically run at a college or a pro team, and they've run them very well.
And Christian Alexander has done a very nice job directing this offense right there on a play action, roll to the right side. He put that ball right on the button to the chest of Jordan White, and it ended up as a touchdown. And I think you're right, Earl. I'd like to see the defense for Clearwater Christian after this game, because I'd like to see the team that shut down this Lakeland Christian school offense. As it's 21-6, and Sharp is ready to kick it away, but the dangerous Brady Borkowski waits back at his own 7 or 8 yard line between the hashes. And maybe, if you're Lakeland Christian, you think about pooch kicking this one and staying away from Borkowski.
Yeah, they might just do that.
Sharp's kick is a pooch kick, high and towards the near sideline. Ball caught at the 30. Receiver cutting upfield, sheds a couple tacklers, gets 7 yards to the 37-yard line, and that is where Evangelical Christian will get their start. It was Riley Iscali who had the catch and the return. And with 3:54 left in the first quarter, Vikings 21, Sentinels 6. And out once again comes Carson Perlman. And this is only the second drive of the game for Perlman. Of course, with the return touchdown, he didn't have to come onto the field for the first 6 points to score. But in the last drive, Perlman saw the offense stall out and need to punt the ball away.
He did, and now, right now he needs a score because he's got to get this game close again. Right now it's 2 possessions away, and they've got to get a score on the board so that it's not such a big deficit.
And Perlman sets up in the gun here with a with a running back to his right. That's Caesar, and 3 wide receivers. Both these teams have been a little pass happy. They've liked to really run and gun it. Here's the snap. Give to Caesar, up the middle he goes, bounces off a tackler and falls forward to the 44-yard, 45-yard line. They'll mark him at the 44-yard line. That's a 6-yard carry, 2nd and 4 for the Sentinels. 3:40 left in the first quarter. Clock continues to run. We're here at Viking Stadium in Lakeland, Florida, and we thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports, alongside Earl McDonald. I'm Nick Reynolds. Ashley Morrow doing the production for us today, and Nick Flammy up on the camera. Here's the snap and the give to Caesar. Pardon that, Perlman kept it himself. He bounces off a couple of tacklers, gets across midfield, refuses to go down, and gets inside of the 45 to the 44-yard line. That's a huge carry. It's a first down for Evangelical Christian, and they get in to Lakeland Christian territory.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what they needed, a nice, slow, methodical drive to keep possession, work the clock a little bit, and get down and make this game a little closer. Let's see what happens.
Clock continues to run, 3:09 left in the first quarter, and Perlman needing to go all the way to the sideline just about to get the play call from head coach Brian Lynch. He sets up in the gun once again with Caesar standing to his right, and now 4 wide receivers on the field. Pardon that, not Caesar, that's Austin Henson standing to his left now, and the snap. Play action, quick throw out, that ball is incomplete. Looked like that one rolled off the hands of Perlman a little bit there. Caesar was the intended target, and it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, it looked like it was a little bubble screen type of a pass play, and he threw it just a little too far ahead of his receiver.
So 2nd and 10 for the Sentinels, 21-6 Vikings lead. Ball on the Lakeland Christian 43-yard line, and Perlman looking to the sideline. Henson standing to the left to Perlman. 4 wide receivers, a real spread set here for Perlman as he puts a Scally in motion to the left side. And some motion very early there. Hard to call on who it was. Looked like that'll go against the offense, though.
Yeah, that's probably going to be a false start on the offense. Let's see what the referee says.
It'll go against the offense. So a 5-yard penalty. That will move the ball back to just close to midfield. It'll be on the Lakeland Christian 42-yard line. 48-yard line. With 2:47 left here in the first quarter. Perlman in the gun. 2nd down, 15 to go for the Sentinels. And Escali back in motion again from right to left, the snap. Perlman will throw it across the middle. Ball is caught, and that play is going to go for a loss. Back into Sentinel territory goes Evangelical Christian. That play was very slow to develop, and it ended up with kind of a lob pass to Austin Henson, who was hit hard upon catching, and the ball is placed right at midfield, 3rd and 17. That play went for a loss of 2.
Yeah, it looked like the Sentinels were trying to set up a nice middle screen, but too many Vikings stayed home and were able to stuff it.
I think they were hoping to get the Vikings to jump on a fake pass to Escali, who even jumped up looking to fake like the pass was to him, but nobody bought it. As Perlman's in the gun here, 3rd and 17 from midfield. 3 wide receivers to snap. And the give up the middle to Henson, and he is pushed down. Got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be 4th and very long, 4th and 17 for the Sentinels. So Austin Henson gets nowhere, the 5'7" senior running back. And a punt now coming by Escali, the punter, for Evangelical Christian. Back to return, Jordan White, who already has a touchdown today. That was a 42-yard touchdown reception on the last drive for the Vikings. It's 21-6 Vikings over Sentinels, 1:29 left in the first quarter. We're still in the first quarter here. We've seen 27 combined points. Snap back, punt up. It is high, spinning. It's going to land right at the 25-yard line and roll up towards White. White's going to pick this one up and run to the far side. He sheds a tackler, gets past the 20, trying to get to the sideline and get an edge, and he does. And he's hit hard and driven out of bounds just short of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39, but there's a late flag and a player down for Evangelical Christian near the 27-yard line of the Vikings. And I have to imagine this is going to be a penalty against the Vikings.
It probably is. We'll see what the referee calls here.
Block in the back. It's going to go against the receiving team, the Vikings. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul.
Yeah, it's a shame to take away the yardage that Jordan White got on that very aggressive return. After the ball had bounced about 10 yards, he realized he had a little bit of room, a little bit of cushion, went ahead and picked it up off the bounce and took off with it and got what would have been about a 25-yard return until it was called back on the penalty.
Instead, the penalty will mark the ball right at the 20-yard line for the Vikings, so the penalty costs the Vikings just about 14, 15 yards or so. And Christian Alexander will come back out. The sophomore starting quarterback will be in the gun, I'm sure, where he's been for a majority of the game. Raphael Presley is the tailback. And 3 wide receivers, 1st and 10 from the 20. And Alexander looking towards the sideline for the play. He has it. Alexander getting the snap. Give to Presley. Cuts left side, trying to get around the end. Finds a hole. Spins off a tackler, but is dragged down just past the 25 to the 27. That was the quarterback, Perlman, as a linebacker, making the stop there. About a 7-yard carry for Presley. Sets up 2nd and 4. It was a 6-yard carry. 49 seconds left in the first quarter. This next play should be the last one of the first. It's 21-6, Vikings over the Sentinels. And Alexander setting up behind center, strong high up the middle with 2 wide receivers. 32 seconds left in the first. Alexander surveying the defense. Here's the snap. Give to Presley. He bounces to the right side, slithers his way up the middle, sheds a tackler, and off he goes. Inside the 40, it's a foot race inside the 25, to the 10, the 5, and a touchdown. Raphael Presley with his 2nd rushing touchdown of the game. That's a 74-yard rush for a touchdown, and it's 27 now to 6. The Vikings lead the Sentinels at 21-point lead. That was not the last play of the first quarter. 11.6 seconds left in the first.
Yeah, that's the 5th touchdown these two teams have scored in the first quarter of the game. 4 by the Vikings, 1 by the Sentinels. And the 2nd of the night for Presley had 1 on the screen pass and then that long run.
You're right, Earl. I misspoke. The other touchdown, a reception on 30 yards. As Presley makes that catch. We've seen 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 passing touchdowns tonight. The extra point is good. 22-point lead for the Vikings over the Sentinels. 11.6 seconds left in the first quarter. It's 28-6. Lakeland Christian over Evangelical Christian. And right now, Lakeland's all over Evangelical at this moment. And Earl, it's been the speed of both Raphael Presley and Jordan White that has really made the difference in this first quarter.
Yeah, and don't forget the speed of Christian Alexander, the quarterback. He also had a long run where he beat every single defender himself as well. But they've got speed at all of the key positions on their offense, and I don't know what the Sentinels are going to do to try and slow them down or stop them. They've got to control the ball more, because I don't think that's the last touchdown the Vikings are going to score tonight.
And the surprising thing about that last play was that Presley probably had 7 or 8 defenders touch him on the play. They had hands on him, but he just was not taken down, was able to shed them, and then it was off to the races. And once he got into the secondary, it was all over for Evangelical Christian. They were giving up another 7 points there, and just like that, 28-6, Vikings over Sentinels, and the kickoff coming sharp to kick it away, and Brady Borkowski ready to return. He waits inside of his own 10. Looks like his toes are right on the 10-yard line. Last time it was a pooch kick to the near sideline, and Sharp's kick here, another lofty pooch kick as Scally waits, makes the catch inside the 30, cuts to the right, has some room, gets past the 30, and towards the near sideline at the 33 or 34. And with 7.3 seconds left, that is where the Sentinels will get started.
Yeah, and really the Sentinels have got to start running a ball control offense. They've got to keep the Vikings offense off the field. They've got to run the ball a little bit more. They've been working the passes nicely. I think they need to do that maybe on 3rd down, run more of a traditional offense, run, pass, and eat some clock and get their own score up on the board and get it a little bit closer.
Perlman will set up in the gun here as he's looking to the sideline now. Slow to come over. 1st and 10 from his own 34 for the Sentinels. And Perlman setting up in the gun with a back standing to his left. That looks like Caesar. With 3 wide receivers. 7.3 seconds left in the first. Here comes Caesar in motion now, and the give is to the back running left side. He finds a hole, cuts up the middle of the field, and is stopped short right on the 40-yard line. That's a 5-yard, 6-yard run, make it. And it's going to be 2nd and 4 for the Sentinels when the second quarter starts. That'll do it for the first. It's 28-6. The Vikings lead the Sentinels. And Earl, that first quarter, all Lakeland Christian.
It was. 5 touchdowns, but 4 of them by the Vikings, the home team here. their offense. The only thing that slowed their offense down so far in the first quarter was a few penalties. And it wasn't enough to stop them. It was just enough to slow them down.
Your scoring plays of the first quarter, Presley to lead off on the first drive of the game, a 30-yard touchdown reception from Christian Alexander. That made it 7-0, and then Christian Alexander himself a 38-yard touchdown run. That made it 14-0, but Evangelical Christian struck back after that when Brady Borkowski ran a 90-plus yard kickoff back for a touchdown up the far sideline. That made it 14-6. The extra point was blocked. But then the Vikings struck back after that and answered on a 42-yard touchdown reception by Jordan White. At that point in time, it was 21-6. And we just saw a 74-yard rushing touchdown by Raphael Presley to make it 28-6. The Vikings lead the Sentinels. In this grudge matchup last year, it was the other way. Evangelical Christian, a 54-0 win at home over the Vikings. These two teams struggled a little bit to start the year. Lakeland Christian 1-1, Evangelical Christian 0-2. But once again, Earl, we talked about it. Evangelical Christian really 4 or 5 plays away from being 2-0. But right now, they're behind in this game here in the second quarter as Perlman lines up and gets the snap. Here comes the handoff. Up the middle goes the back. He was lined up as a wide receiver on the left side, and up the middle goes Deshaun Gary, the 5'5" 8th grader and wide receiver. And he gets the first down. Up the middle he went, just short of midfield. They'll mark it at the 46. 1st and 10 for the Sentinels. We're just underway here in the second quarter, and we thank you for joining us here on your destination for high school sports. It's PlayOnSports.com. Alongside Earl McDonald, I'm Nick Grunowitz. And Perlman will set up in the gun here. Perlman has had an effect on this game, both on the offensive and defensive side, as he puts a wide receiver in motion here. This is Caesar, who cuts around the left side and gets the handoff. Towards midfield he goes, puts his helmet down and barrels into the defenders and gets right to midfield. It's a 4-yard carry and sets up 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, they're doing exactly what I said I thought they needed to do, and that's get the ball on the ground a little bit more than they had earlier in the first quarter and get a little drive going and run some clock.
11 minutes left in the second quarter, and Perlman looking to the sideline for the play. He has it. And Perlman lined up in the gun here. Here's the snap. Play action. Perlman looking down, throws this one for Caesar, just out of his outstretched hands and incomplete. And that sets up 3rd and 6. He had all kinds of room over the top, and Caesar knew it, as he lays on his back right now, lamenting the missed catch.
Yeah, Caesar made good separation and was running a nice quick route down the field, and the quarterback threw a very pretty ball. He just led him by about 2 feet too far.
And that would have done a lot to get the Sentinels back into this game. They trailed 28-6 to the Vikings, but still early in this one. We're in the second quarter with 10:46 left in the first half. Perlman looking to the sideline. And Perlman coming out. Chris Caesar is the back. And a correction of that last play, it was Brady Borkowski who was the wide receiver lined up. Caesar now to the right of Perlman. Borkowski moves to the right side. And Perlman now looking to the sideline once again. Can't figure out the play. Looking to the coaching staff and head coach Brian Lynch. They're telling him to hurry up. And Lakeland Christian asking the crowd to get louder, and now there's a flag in the backfield. It's a delay of game.
Yeah, that's not at all what the Sentinels needed on 3rd and 6. Now it's going to make it 3rd and 11, and it's going to be much more difficult to convert this. Their ground game has been good, but 11 yards is usually too long to go for it on the ground.
3rd and 11 with 10:46 left in the second quarter. Sentinels need a first down. They need to get to the Lakeland Christian 44-yard line as they set up 3rd and 11 from their own 45. And Perlman will walk his team back out onto the field. He has Borkowski out to the left side, 2 wide receivers out to the right, and Caesar to the right of the quarterback as Borkowski goes in motion. Here's the snap. It's chest high. Perlman, good protection. Throws this one out for Borkowski, who makes the catch but is knocked down just short, just past the original line of scrimmage. There is a flag down there. And Borkowski is down as the training staff will come out and help him up quickly. See what the call is. Personal foul coming. This is going to go against the defense. A hit to the head on a defenseless wide receiver. That's an automatic first down and a 15-yard penalty. They'll mark this one in to Lakeland Christian territory, as this one will be paced off. This will be near the 40, I imagine. Inside of the 40, make it.
Yeah, and a nice break for the Sentinels. They really needed to try and convert that. I don't think the play had any chance of converting it. But the penalty gives them the automatic first down and gives them some nice field position as well.
So 1st and 10 from the Lakeland Christian 38-yard line for Evangelical Christian. This is, like you said, Earl, the best opportunity that Evangelical Christian has had on the offensive side of the ball all night. Perlman in the gun with 3 wide receivers. He puts one in motion to the left side, and here's the snap. Give to the wide receiver in motion, trying to get around the end, but he is stuffed short at the 40, and this play is going to go for a loss of 3. And the carry there, Deshaun Gary, who looked very good on the one up the middle, but right there just didn't have the blocking to get around the end.
Yeah, unfortunately, not only are they having a hard time blocking this Vikings defense, but a few plays ago, Benjamin Willard, one of the starting linemen for the Sentinels, hobbled off the field with a little bit of a leg issue.
And Evangelical Christian will come back out. Ball is on the left hash. It's 2nd and 13 after that play goes for a loss of 3 on the LCH 40-yard line. Perlman in the gun. In motion goes another wide receiver. Play action. Perlman's going to keep it. Rifles this one down the field near sideline. That ball is caught, and into the end zone goes the wide receiver for a touchdown. That's Grant Young, the sophomore 5'11 wide receiver. And what a catch there. Went up to the highest point and pulled it down just behind the defensive back, and it's 28-12. The Sentinels cut into the deficit.
That was a tremendous catch, and it looked like it was right over the hands of Raphael Presley, who we know is a terrific athlete. He made a jump for it as well, but could not bring it down, and the receiver caught it and then ran the last couple steps into the end zone. Beautiful catch.
40-yard touchdown reception for Grant Young. It makes it 28-12. And now going for 2 is Perlman as he sets up in the gun. Here's the snap. Perlman going to the right side, throws it off the back foot. A diving attempt out there. Did he hold on? And he did not. It's incomplete.
Conversion is no good.
So Evangelical Christian cannot convert on the 2-point try. And with 9:24 left in the second quarter, it's the Vikings 28 and the Sentinels 12 here at Viking Stadium. And after that touchdown, Lakeland Christian now with a 16-point lead, and the Vikings are going to get the ball in just a moment.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
Alongside Earl McDonald, I'm Nick Grunowitz, and we thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. We're here in Lakeland, Florida at Viking Stadium, where the Lakeland Christian Vikings are hosting the Evangelical Christian Sentinels. It's 28-12 with 9:24 left in the first half. The Vikings lead the Sentinels, but the Sentinels able to chip their way into that Vikings lead with a 40-yard touchdown reception by Grant Young, the sophomore. And a sensational catch by that sophomore as he went up and took it just from over the top of the defensive back and was able to land on 1 foot and fall into the end zone. The 2-point attempt was not good. The ball went through the hands of the wide receiver for the Sentinels, but regardless, the Vikings lead now down to just 16.
And hopefully the Vikings are ready for an onside kick, because that is what I would anticipate. The first quarter was 2 onside kicks by the Sentinels, and I'm looking for another one here.
Iscali is lined up, and here he comes. And here's another looping. This is a pooch kick that White comes up and catches, bangs into his own man, and the play called dead. There's a whistle there. Don't know why they called that play dead.
No, it's possible that he called for a fair catch, but I didn't see it.
It may have been one of those situations where he was telling his man, I'm going to catch it, and they took that as a fair catch. But they'll mark the ball at the Lakeland Christian Vikings 30-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, and we'll see the sophomore quarterback Christian Alexander come out once again. Alexander with 2 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown tonight 4 touchdowns on the evening for Lakeland Christian, including 2 very long touchdown runs, a 74-yarder by by Presley, and a 38-yarder by Christian Alexander. As he sets up in the gun here, and the snap. Throw, this one's a lob far sideline, and that ball is way too deep and incomplete. That for Lorenz DeShazer.
As intended for Leroy DeShazer.
Pardon that, make that Leroy DeShazer, who's wearing number 5. With 9:17 left.
I believe Leroy DeShazer's 9. And
the PA announcer just
Lorenz
said Leroy.
DeShazer's 5. Unless there was a last-minute switch.
You may be right. We'll go with Lorenz DeShazer wearing number 5. That was what we were told before the game. An offset eye for Alexander here with 2 wide receivers. 2nd and 10, the snap. Give to the back, Presley running right side, finds a hole, cuts up the middle, picks up another block and has some room. Past the 40 to the 45-yard line he goes. They'll mark him down at the 46, a 16-yard run for Raphael Presley, the junior 165-pound running back. And just like that, a first down for Lakeland Christian. And one thing that Presley has done very well tonight, Earl, is follow those blockers. He's waited for a hole to open up. He's been very patient.
He has. He's made a lot of little steps, almost like a jogger on a corner waiting for a light. And he'll make those quick little steps and then a juke move, and then he's gone.
That was a nice metaphor. I like that one. A jogger waiting in a light. 8:49 left in the first half, and Alexander's in the gun, 1st and 10. The snap. And Alexander's going to keep himself rushing left side across midfield and inside the 45, falling forward inside of the 40. Where are they going to mark him down here? At about the 37-yard line of Evangelical Christian. Another huge run there, about 24 yards, and that's a first down for Lakeland Christian.
Yeah, once again, the Vikings just have too much talent at too many different positions on this offense, and it's very, very difficult for ECS to figure out who they're going to stop on each play.
1st and 10 from the ECH 38. Alexander in the gun, a back to his right, that's Presley, and 3 wide receivers. Alexander gets the snap, looks to the right side, throws this one ball, caught inside of the 30 and pushed down the wide receiver Brad Peace. That ball marked down at the 38-yard line, and that is good enough for what looks to be a first down. Looked like a 10-yard reception. We'll see if they move the chain gang.
Yeah, it was just a simple slant route, and Alexander hit him about 8 yards deep, and he was able to keep a couple steps more to add about 3 yards to it.
9-yard play, a yard short are the Vikings. So it's 2nd and 1, strong eye up the middle. Presley, the tailback for Alexander, who gets behind center. 3 wide receivers, the snap, give to the up back, up the middle he goes, inside of the 25, falling forward is the up back on the play. That is number 32, Caleb Thomas. Make it 33, pardon. With 7:38 left in the first half, they'll continue to run the clock. 28-12, Vikings over Sentinels. It's 1st and 10 for the Vikings on the Sentinel 24. And Alexander sets up in the gun with Presley standing to his right. 3 wide receivers, and DeShazer by himself on the right side. Alexander gets the snap. Quick bubble screen throw to the left side. Inside the 25 goes the receiver, cuts back in. Inside of the 20, inside of the 15, and pulled down. At the far sideline is the receiver. That's another 15-yard play and a first down. There's Jordan White once again with another nice catch.
Yeah, and viewers that have played Xbox, he clicked the right stick to the right and juked the defender almost out of his shoes and got about an extra 10 yards because of that beautiful juke move.
White's ability in the open field is something that's been very apparent here in the first half. Of course, that very long touchdown run reception that he had, 42 yards, and right there was able to get around 3 or 4 defenders. It's 1st and 10 for Lakeland Christian on the 12-yard line, it looks like. Here's the snap and play action. This one's lobbed to the end zone, and it's a touchdown for Lakeland Christian. The catch, number 88, Phil Wilsman, the senior tight end. And there's another touchdown. Vikings 34, Sentinels 12. Wilsman with the touchdown catch.
Yeah, that's the 3rd different receiver to make a touchdown catch from Alexander tonight, and he also has one on the ground. apparently he's making an early pitch to be our player of the game, and it's still 6:43 left in the half.
4 touchdowns as a result from Christian Alexander, 3 tossing and 1 running, and the extra point is up and good by Sharp. 35-12 with 6:43 left in the first half. The Vikings lead the Sentinels here at Viking Stadium in Lakeland, Florida, as we thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com in a game that really was billed to be an even matchup. Lakeland Christian has had the upper hand for a majority of it. At one point in time, led 14-0. Now lead it 35-12, but the Sentinels do have 2 touchdowns on the night. They have a kickoff return for a touchdown. That was by Brady Borkowski, the junior 5'9" kick returner, and a 40-yard touchdown reception by Grant Young as well. So 6:43 left in the first half, and Evangelical Christian will look to answer. And Earl, they really need something here to get back into this game down big, 35-12.
They do. They need, again, another long offensive drive, eat some clock, keep the Vikings offense off the field, and get a touchdown out of it, not a field goal. They can't afford to be putting up 3-point plays when the Vikings are getting a touchdown almost every time they touch the ball.
So the Vikings set to kick this one away. Back is Borkowski to receive, but I would imagine this is going to be kicked away from Borkowski, as we've seen it on every kick since that return. Sharp will kick it away, and he's kicked it mostly to that 30-yard line area. As he looks to his teammate, raises his hands, and here we go. Kick is a high pooch to the near sideline. The ball is caught at the 28, and the receiver falls down and is able to get out of the way of the blow. Deshaun Gray marked down at the 28-yard line of the Sentinels. That is where the starting quarterback, Carson Perlman, the 6'3" sophomore, will get his offensive company going.
Yeah, both these head coaches clearly concerned with the return speed from the other team, and so both these kickers are getting quite a bit of practice tonight on their pooches.
They'll mark it at the 29. It's 1st and 10 for the Sentinels. Vikings with a 35-12 lead. Once again, it's been all Vikings here in the first half for the most part. In fact, if you take away the special teams touchdown, this game would be 35-6, and the only score, a 40-yard touchdown reception by Grant Young, as Perlman sets up in the gun and sends Borkowski from left to right. Give to Borkowski, up the middle he goes into the secondary, and he gets past the 40. They'll mark him down at the 45, but there was a flag in the backfield, and I imagine this one's going to be coming back.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the exact opposite of what the Sentinels needed. They needed that play to stand. They didn't need it to be called back on a penalty. Let's see what the referee has to say.
Referee already motioned it was a legal procedure. Moving early was Borkowski on that last play. And they'll mark this ball back 5 yards. It'll set up 1st down and 15 at the 24-yard line of Evangelical Christian. And they've struggled enough on offense. The penalties have really hurt them as well here in the first half, as this ball will be marked all the way back, pardon that, to the 15-yard line. Where are they going to mark this? They've changed the yardage 2 or 3 times now, but it looks to me like they'll mark it at the 24. They will. Scoreboard changed twice as well. But 1st and 15 from the 24. Perlman sets up in the gun as he comes over. Caesar stands to his left, 2 wide receivers to the left side. Escali's on the inside, and Borkowski off the line to the right side. As Perlman looks to the right, he'll send Borkowski in motion. Here is the snap, and Perlman will give the ball to Caesar, who's stuffed right in the backfield and taken down for a loss. This is another 4-yard, 5-yard loss. The ball will be marked back at the 20. And right now, if you're Evangelical Christian, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah, that's on 2 successive plays. They've lost yards, one from a penalty, one from a negative run. And that's the opposite of what they need. I'm sure Coach Lentz wants them to drive down the field and score as the half expires.
2nd and 12. No, and I believe it was a timeout call. There's 5:52 left in the first half, and there is a timeout call. This will go for the Sentinels timeout. They should have 2 remaining. Oh, no, what it is it's an official timeout. They have 1 built into each quarter. So an official timeout call, 35-12. The Vikings lead the Sentinels with 5:52 left in the first half. And, well, right now, Earl, the play of Christian Alexander has been unparalleled out there on the field in terms of directing the offense, finding the open man, and allowing his weapons to do exactly what they do.
You're absolutely right. I'm sure Coach Lynch is horrified at what Christian Alexander has done to his defense. His defense has not given up 35 points in the first 2 complete games they played this year, and they've given up 35 to Christian Alexander's offense in the first half of this one.
Christian Alexander, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. The passing touchdowns coming of 30, 42, and 12. The rushing touchdown, a 38-yard gasher. And the Vikings lead it 35-12. Perlman in the gun. It's 2nd and 19, and here's the snap, and early flags fly here. This should go against the offense. Looked like a false start to me. We'll have to see. It is a false start, and it will go against the offense. Another 5-yard penalty. This is going to be 2nd and 24. And they'll mark this one inside of the 15-yard line at the 14.
Yeah, it's still 2nd down. Technically, they've only run 1 play since they got the kickoff, and yet they've already had 3 negative plays.
So Perlman sets up in the gun. Once again, he's going to need to with 3 wide receivers. Borkowski in motion from left to right. Here's the snap. Play action. And Perlman's going to let this one fly to the right side. That ball is short of the wide receiver. Either some miscommunication or he left it short of Viscali. The other wide receiver out there was Grant Young. But regardless, it's 3rd and very long, 24 yards from the Evangelical Christian 15-yard line. 5:16 left in the first half. And even now when you think about punting, on 4th down, if Evangelical Christian can't get the first down, Lakeland Christian is going to have some very favorable field position if they get the ball back.
Absolutely, and we've already expressed that it seems like both coaches are concerned about the return game of the other team, and the return game of the Vikings has certainly scared them off of the kickoffs earlier. I don't know what they're going to do if they're forced to punt.
Perlman comes out in the gun with the ball on the left hash and Caesar to his left side. 3 wide receivers, Borkowski to the left, and McGivers to Caesar up the middle. They're going to look for some yards, and he's popped after a gain of 1 or 2. So that sets up 4th down and long. It's 22 yards, and there's 5 minutes and 4 seconds left in the second quarter. And a punting situation, an obvious one for Evangelical Christian, as Viscali will come back to kick this one. His first 2 punts have both gone out of bounds. No, pardon that. One has gone out of bounds. The other one was taken back by Jordan White for about 25 yards, but a block in the back penalty negated the run and marked the ball about 15 yards short of where White ended up. As Viscali sets to kick this one from the left hash on his own 5. The kick is up, almost blocked by Lakeland Christian, and White is waiting. This ball bounces on one hop to White, who has the ball. Cuts to the right side between 3 defenders. Sheds one, falls down inside of the 45-yard line. They'll mark him down at the Evangelical Christian 43, and already in Sentinel territory are the Vikings before Christian Alexander, the offense, even run 1 play.
Yeah, the Sentinels have got to have their defense step up for what would essentially be the first time stop the Vikings offense. The Sentinels defense was very strong their first 2 games out, only allowing 21 and 13 points respectively. They've already given up 35 to this powerful Viking offense. They've got to find a way to stop them on at least 1 possession.
4:22 left in the first half, and Christian Alexander breaks back out. He has a strong I formation with Presley as the deep back. 3 wide receivers, 2 split to the left and 1 to the right, and Presley directing traffic here, looking at the line, gets the snap, gives to the up back, and up the middle he goes for a gain of 2 before being pulled down by that big defensive line of Evangelical Christian, and the carry given to Caleb Thomas, the fullback. That sets up 2nd and 8 after a 2-yard gain. 4 minutes left in the first half. 35-12 lead for the Vikings over the Sentinels. And Christian Alexander, continuing to run the offense here, comes out of the huddle. He sends 2 wide receivers to the left side. That's going to be Jordan White on the inside out there. And here comes the snap. 3-step drop, this one lob left side. White with the catch inside the 30, inside the 25, splits between 2 defenders, and falls his way inside of the 20 to about the 17-yard line for a huge play there of 23 yards. And on the doorstep once again are the Vikings, 1st and 10 from the Sentinels, 17 or so. They'll mark it on the 16.
Yeah, and that one looked like another slant route, which Christian Alexander has proved several times tonight. He can throw that slant pass, and he can throw it well.
So a 24-yard pass play there by Christian gives them 1st and 10. A strong eye with Presley as the back. Here's the snap. Lob this one near side towards the end zone. This one is too long and incomplete. That one intended for Lorenz DeShazer. Make it Leroy DeShazer.
Clearly one of the DeShazer brothers.
There is a number 7 scampering around out there, so I would imagine Leroy DeShazer is wearing number 5 and Lorenz is wearing number 7. Don't know why Lorenz would change the jersey and then his brother would take his jersey, unless they knew, of course, we were here calling the game and just wanted to confuse us.
That could be.
But with 3:20 left in the first half, it's a 35-12 lead for the Vikings. Strong eye up the middle. Once again for Christian, 2nd and 10. The snap, give to Presley, cuts up to the right side. Coming around the end he goes. He drops the football and fumbles it, but it looks like he was able to jump back on top of it inside of the 10 at around the 7-yard line. And that should be a 9 or 10 yard, an 8 or 9 yard run. And a player down for Evangelical Christian. Fortunate bounce there for the Vikings. As Presley fumbled it, he was able to jump back on top of the ball. And that player down at the 5-yard line of the Sentinels. The training staff is going to come out and take a look. And Earl, right now with 3:02 left, the Sentinels have already had a couple of injuries, as well as the Vikings. The Vikings had Brett Brenneman actually carted off the field earlier in this game. And it looks like the player is going to be all right as he's kind of walked off the field looking to stretch out that ankle, it looked like. That's Deshaun Gary, who we've seen used in kind of that early motion package on offense for the Sentinels. Very Florida Gator-esque when you think of some of those old running backs they had a couple of years ago with Chris Rainey and who was the other guy? Demps, Jeffrey Demps as well. They put him in the wide receiver slot on the inside and put them in motion just before the snap and see if they can get them into open field. And that's what we've seen Gary do tonight. He's been successful a couple of times. But it's 3rd and 2 from the Sentinel 8-yard line for Lakeland Christian as Christian Alexander continues to drive. Ball is inside the 15 inside the 10 at the 8-yard line. Strong eye here for Alexander and the Vikings. Here's the snap. Give to Presley. He powers his way up the right side, sheds a tackler, and falls into the end zone. That's a touchdown for the Vikings. They lead it 41-12 with 2:38 left in the first half. That's an 8-yard touchdown run for Raphael Presley. His 3rd touchdown of the game, 2 rushing, 1 receiving.
Yeah, apparently Presley wants us to reconsider our player of the game, at least for the first half, and he wants a couple of votes to go his way.
Well, I think that this is going to be something that you and I are going to have to debate during halftime, and then in large detail as the extra point is up and good right down the middle by Sharp. And it's 42-12. We'll have to talk about it in great detail during that brief break between the end of the game and the post-game show as well. So right now, Presley with 3 touchdowns and Alexander Christian with 3 as well. 3 passing and 1 rushing. But it's an all-out rout here at Viking Stadium in Lakeland, Florida. 42-12. The Vikings lead the Sentinels with 2:38 left in the first half. And right now it's been Presley as of late. 2 rushing touchdowns here in the second quarter. Here in the first half. A 74-yarder and an 8-yarder.
Stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com postgame show, where we will select our player of the game, as well as wrap up all the action from this ball game. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
And we do thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com alongside Earl McDonald. I'm Nick Grunowitz. Nick Flamme up in the camera's nest up above us, and Ashley Morrow running the production for us. We thank them for their time. And with 2:38 left in the first half, the Vikings with a 42-12 lead, and the Sentinels set to receive this one. And back is Brady Borkowski at his own 5, though I'm sure he knows he's going to be walking off the field in a moment, as we've seen just about all pooch kicks. And here's another one, a high lofter towards the near sideline. The ball bounces off of off of a Sentinel player, and it is recovered by Lakeland Christian. It looks no. The Sentinels hold on to it. That one went off the thigh of one of the upbacks. And Gray, who was there, Barton Gary, was just able to jump on it or get in the vicinity of it. And the Sentinels able to hold on to the ball. That was almost disastrous.
Yeah, I mean, they're already down 42-12. They can't have a turnover on a play like that. They needed to get that ball back, which they did, and they've got to see if they can do something with this last 2 minutes and 38 seconds.
A 30-point lead for the Vikings, and out comes Carson Perlman for the Sentinels as he sets up in the gun. At this point, can you even afford to run the ball? Probably not here in the second quarter, but maybe for the rest of the game. A lot of ground to make up for the Sentinels as they set up with 4 wide receivers. Here's the snap. They will rush it up the middle, goes the back, past the 35. They'll mark him down at the 36. That was Austin Henson with the catch. With the rush. He gets 2 yards. It's 2nd and 8. Clock continues to run with 2:22 left in the first half. And Perlman back in the gun. With a back to his right, that looks like Henson, who stays in. Borkowski off the left with another wide receiver. That's Gary, and another wide receiver to the right. Here's the snap. Quick throw, right side. It's caught. Past the 35 to the 40 goes the wide receiver. Skips off a few. Cuts back up the middle. This is Iscali inside the 35, and it's a race to the end zone. He's going to get there first, all the way in for a touchdown. A 64-yard touchdown reception by Iscali, the punter, the kicker, wide receiver, and defensive back. Helps the Sentinels chip into the deficit. It's now 42-18.
Yeah, well, great play call on the screen. They let all of the Vikings blitz in. The quarterback just popped it over to Iscali on screen, and Iscali did the rest. Half the team was already behind him from the screen pass, and he blew down the field, right up the middle of the field for a touchdown.
And that was a play that started, like you said, to the flat on a bubble screen, and Iscali was able to make it happen from there, as the extra point is pending by Riley Iscali. So not only has he scored the touchdown, he's going to kick the extra point here. As he sets up, 1:55 left in the first half. 42-18, the Vikings lead the Sentinels, but Evangelical Christian trying to say that they're not going to go away quietly as the extra point is up and is good. So 42-19, a 23-point deficit for the Sentinels here with 1:55 left in the first half. The Vikings leading, and, well, Earl right there, Iscali able to just make the catch and make his way up the middle of the field.
Yeah, again, I think it was a beautifully drawn-up play. They were able to let the Vikings pass rush get past the line, and by the time Iscali caught the ball on the screen, the Vikings only had half their defense left in front of him, and Iscali was quick enough and agile enough to dodge a few guys and then beat the rest as he ran up the middle of the field for the touchdown.
So the Vikings set to receive here, and Evangelical Christian to kick it away. Vikings will move from left to right. The Sentinels will have Riley Iscali kick it away as they come out of the timeout. So Iscali has caught the ball, kicked the extra point. Now he's going to kick the kickoff here. So no one has touched the ball except for Iscali in the last 3 plays. And back to receive for Evangelical Christian. That looks like Leroy DeShazer. He waits on his own 15.
Iscali has also been the up back that's caught several of the pooch kickoffs from the Vikings as well.
Well, if you notice, the Vikings have moved Jordan White up to the 25-yard line. In case of an extra deep pooch kick here, perhaps White can get up and make the catch. But DeShazer waits very deep. And now Iscali getting ready to go.
Let's see if Coach Lynch calls for another onside or a pooch.
The touchdown was the second touchdown pass of the night for Carson Perlman. A 40-yarder and a 64-yarder for Perlman tonight. One to Grant Young and one to Riley Iscali as this pooch kick is low. This is going to be an onside kick, but it's controlled by Lakeland Christian. It'll be marked down at the Lakeland Christian 48-49 line. 1st and 10 for Christian Alexander with 1:53 left in the first half. And maybe we'll see a backup quarterback at some point in time here, maybe.
Iscali looks like he's in some trouble.
He looked to be hurting before he kicked that ball as well. Looked like he may have been sick. But they're going to help. They're going to walk. He's going to walk his way off the field. The trainer comes out to take a look at him. But he may have gotten sick there for a moment. With 1:53 left in the first half, and well, it's a very warm night, of course. The heat does take its toll, especially on a player like Riley Escali who's in on every play, either as a defensive back, a wide receiver, a kicker, a punter. So he's been used for just about all of this game. And Alexander set up in the gun with 4 wide receivers. And a quick throw to the out. That ball is caught inside of the 40 and the 46-yard line goes the receiver. That was Leroy DeShazer. Pardon that. Brad Peace with the catch. And Alexander's going to hurry it up a bit.
Yeah, the Vikings are not content with 42 in the first half, apparently.
That catch for 15 yards. It's a first down. The snap back. Throw to the left side. Here's Peace again off his hands and incomplete. That one almost tipped right into the fortunate hands of J.D. Johnson, but he was unable to get his mitts around it. And with 1:39 left, the clock will stop. 42-19 Vikings over Sentinels. 2nd and 10. And you're exactly right, Earl. The Vikings not content with 42 in the first half.
No, they're running a quick offense and trying to get in position to score again.
Alexander in the gun, 4 wide receivers to snap, and the give to Presley, pardon that. And he throws it out to the outside, caught by White inside the 30, inside the 25, big move, inside the 20, cutting across the field to the left side, to the 10, has one to beat, around to the end zone, that's a touchdown. 35-yard touchdown catch for Jordan White. He's making his case now for the player of the game in this broadcast, but that's going to make it 48-19. The Vikings lead the Sentinels with the extra point pending.
Yeah, just a terrific play by Presley. Made several juke moves to the left and then ultimately cut all the way back across the field to evade the few remaining defenders left that had any shot at him at all.
Second touchdown catch of the night for Jordan White. 5th touchdown pass for Alexander, and this kick is a fake. White trying to get to the outside as he spins off and is taken down. The attempt is no good, and the Vikings will stop at 48 points. Looked like that was a design play, too. They were looking for 50 in the first half, Earl.
Maybe. I'm not sure if it was designed, or I'd like to think that it was just a bad snap.
I would like to think that, too.
They've already got 48. There'd be no reason to do that, so...
But at 1:24 left in the first half, 48-19 Vikings over the Sentinels, and Evangelical Christian set to receive this one. And, Earl, these games happen from time to time when just one team is all over the other. But if you're an Evangelical Christian and Brian Lynch, the head coach of the team's shoes, what are you telling your team on the sideline right now? Still another half of football left.
They do have another half of football left, and that last drive showed that the right pass play could yield a quick touchdown. If they can score 1 quick, maybe they can score 2 or 3 quick, and maybe there's a chance they can get back in this game. Unfortunately, they still haven't found a way to stop the Vikings offense. So I think at halftime they're going to have to figure out what they can do. Can they change something up, come up with a different scheme to finally stop the Vikings offense?
Well, 7 touchdowns in the first half for the Vikings, and 4 of them passing for Christian Alexander. Here's a high pooch kick to the near side. Ball caught at the 45, and the receiver falling forward. Look at the 35, forward up to about the 38. And that receiver was Joseph Marsalek, who had the catch. A senior, 5'10", defensive lineman and offensive lineman, so he'll line up here as he throws the ball to the near sideline. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the Evangelical Christian Sentinels 38-yard line, and Perlman's going to come back out. 3 touchdowns on the night for the Sentinels, 2 on the offense, 1 on the special teams. As we saw Brady Borkowski take a kick all the way back, and then a 40-yard touchdown reception by Grant Young, and a 64-yard touchdown reception by Riley Escali as Perlman gets the snap. Quick throw near sideline. Borkowski cuts back up the middle of the field, gets to the 45, and he's pushed down, but there is a flag down on the play. The play will go for a gain of 7 or 8, but we'll see exactly what the call is if it's going to stay where it is.
I think it's going to be illegal motion again,
It was. And we've seen that 2 or 3 times from Evangelical Christian, and that illegal motion is what allows Borkowski to get into some open field there as he moved off of the line and didn't get back before the snap.
Yeah, he's in motion. He's turning upfield before his center is snapping the ball, which makes it an illegal motion.
Correct.
This is not the Arena Football League where they are allowed to run toward the line before the snap.
You beat me to it, Earl. That's exactly where I was going. So 48-19, Vikings over the Sentinels. 1:13 left in the first half. And Perlman lines up in the gun. 1st and 15 from his own 33. Perlman surveying the field, has 4 wide receivers. Borkowski in motion, and here's the snap. And a pump fake, throw to the far side. This one caught by Borkowski. He's past the 40. Past the 45, cuts up the far sideline, refusing to go down. He gets across midfield and into Lakeland Christian territory. They'll mark him down, and still down is Borkowski. They'll mark him down at the 46 of the Vikings.
Yeah, that was a great play. The pump fake seemed to work because Borkowski was wide open on the right sideline, and he was able to turn it upfield and streak that sideline just enough to get the first and a couple yards more.
So 1st and 10 on that play. It goes for 22 yards. Make it 25 yards. 50 seconds left in the first half, and Perlman in the gun. They'll come out with 4 wide receivers, 3 of them set to the left. And Perlman gets the snap. Still dropping back, throws across the middle, ball is tipped and incomplete. And there's a late flag. Riley Escali, the intended target, and we'll see what the call is here.
Yeah, I suspect the defender got there just a split second too early. This might be pass interference on the defense.
It's going to go against the defense. It'll be illegal hands, looks like. Pass interference against the defense. So a 15-yard penalty there that sets up first down for the Sentinels. They'll move this ball and mark it off as it's right now at the 48. Where are they going to mark this? Took the referee a moment to find the ball and mark it off. It's inside the 35 to the 33. So 1st and 10 from the 33, 44.9 seconds left in the first half. And if you're Evangelical Christian, a touchdown here could really mean a lot, of course, for some momentum as the Vikings, the Sentinels, get the ball back when the half starts. As here's a throw to the left side. Ball is caught, and inside the 25 goes the wide receiver. And that's going to be close to a first down for the Sentinels. A timeout used. And the catch made there by, was that Christian Van Brunt who made the catch, number 30.
Yeah,
so a timeout called with 36 seconds left. It's 48-19 Vikings over the Sentinels.
Yeah, ECS, if they can score in this last 36 seconds, they will give them some momentum. They do get the ball coming out in the second half, and it'll start giving their offense some confidence because they've had very few good offensive possessions in the first half. But if they get 2 good offensive possessions that yield touchdowns late in the second quarter, maybe they come out and play a little differently in the second half. Maybe it inspires the defense, gives the defense a little more rest. Who knows what could happen? I have seen bigger comebacks in football.
29-point lead for the Vikings over the Sentinels, 48-19. There's 36 seconds left in the first half. 1st and 10 for the Sentinels from the Vikings' 23-yard line. They're knocking on the door just 3 yards short of the red zone. But it's going to take an effort here from starting quarterback Carson Perlman to get his team into the end zone, somewhere where they've only been offensively twice tonight, and both of them with big plays, 40 and 64-yard touchdown passes from Carson Perlman, who sets up in the gun here with 4 wide receivers and a back to his right side. Perlman directing traffic now with his right hand and gets the snap. Big blitz coming. Perlman spins off a defender, and he's taken down in the backfield. And that sack really hurts the drive for Evangelical Christian. They'll mark this one down at the 30-yard line. That's a 7-yard sack in a timeout called by the Sentinels. That is their second of the half. They have 1 remaining. And right now, it's going to set up 2nd and 17 from the Lakeland Christian 30-yard line. And right there, an all-out blitz coming from Wayne Peace's squad. The linebackers, all 3 of them coming in.
Yeah, they sent at least 6 men on the rush, maybe 7. And I was actually thinking that that's the kind of thing ECS needs to do on defense to try and challenge that offense of the Vikings. The Vikings made the adjustment a little quicker, sensing the Sentinel drive, and they made the adjustment and got a big loss of yards on it for themselves.
And I do agree with you, Earl. I think that Christian Alexander on the offensive side for Lakeland Christian has just had way too much time to throw the football tonight. 4 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown in this 48-point first half, and there's 20 seconds left in the first half. 19 points for the Sentinels, so a 29-point lead for the Vikings. Pardon that, making a 19-point lead. No, 29-point lead for the Vikings, yes. And Perlman comes out 2nd and 17 from the Viking 30, and he gets the snap. Dropping back. More pressure coming. This one's across the middle. It is tipped up and dropped by the wide receiver. That one very close to being caught for a first down and perhaps more. And the intended wide receiver, Grant Young, who just had that catch that brought Evangelical Christian inside of the 25, but instead now it's 3rd and 17 with 21.7 seconds left.
Yep. Perhaps they'll run another screen. Both teams have run the screen play fairly effectively at various points in this first half. They may be in a position where they need that here.
And Perlman set up in the gun. 3-step drop, pressure coming, throw left side. Ball is caught. The receiver is mugged just inside of the 30 at the 29, and pushed down is Deshaun Gary, well short of the first down. He got near the original line of scrimmage. Maybe just past it. And that sets up 4th and about 9. See where they mark it.
The Sentinels
make it about 12.
The Sentinels surely are going to go for it here. But on that last play, Ben Andrus made a great hit to stop the receiver as soon as he caught it. There was no way he was going to leave after that hit. He was not going to be able to get any extra yards.
So 4th and 9 is where they'll mark it at the Lakeland Christian 22-yard line. It's 48-19. The Vikings lead the Sentinels. 14.7 seconds left in the first half. And after that last play, a timeout called by the Sentinels. That's their last of the first half. And Perlman coming out. And Earl here, it looks to me like they're going to line up for the field goal. They're not going to go for it. This is going to be a 44-yard attempt for Escali. It is.
And the Vikings are capable of blocking kicks, so watch for that. Let's see what happens.
This is a big boy kick for Riley Escali, 6'2" junior, as he lines up. Snap back, hold down. The kick is up, end over end. Does it have enough? It does. Quite a bit enough. And the extra, pardon, the field goal is good. That makes it 48-22. The Vikings lead the Sentinels by 26 points with 9.3 left in the first half. That kick had plenty. They could have backed him up another 10 yards.
Yeah, they certainly, at least another 5. That kick went over the uprights right in the middle and was at least 5 or 6 yards higher than the crossbar when it went over.
So Escali hits the 44-yard field goal with 9.3 seconds left. The Vikings still with a huge lead, but the Sentinels starting to get some rhythm to that offense. It's been a couple of drop balls and some penalties that have really hurt them here in the first half. And going in to halftime, I'm sure head coach Brian Lynch is going to have that to talk about, as Lakeland Christian will get set to receive this one. They have Jordan White and Leroy DeShazer back to return. And to kick it away will be Riley Escali, who's been one of the most valuable players for the Sentinels team in the first half, not only taking the punting, kicking, and defensive back duties. He's also been a wide receiver, caught a 64-yard touchdown, and now kicked a 44-yard field goal. And he'll kick from his own 40 here, as we've seen just about all pooch kicks tonight. A couple of sneak onside kick attempts for Evangelical Christian, but none of them have worked. As Escali gets set here, I would expect for him to kick this one at least fairly deep. And he does. It goes for the onside. That ball bounces up and out the far sideline. And a flag down on the field. This one's going to get started. Is that near midfield, about the 45. We'll see where they mark it. 9.3 seconds left. Lakeland Christian has a chance to probably run one, maybe 2 plays, depending on what they are, if they want a couple more points in this half. We did see them go for 2 after the last touchdown, but that looked like it was just a botched hold on the extra point. And Evangelical Christian will come out. They'll mark the ball at the 43-yard line of Lakeland Christian.
Yeah, I would think they would just run the ball here. If they get a lucky break, they'll see what happens, but I think they're just going to run the ball up the middle.
Phil Wilsman, a late addition to the lineup here as he comes onto the field from off the sideline. Presley, the deep back. Alexander gets the snap, and he's going to take a knee. And that'll do it for the first half. 48-22. The Vikings lead the Sentinels. That'll do it for the first half of the play. The Vikings lead the Sentinels 48-22. We'll be back in a few moments with the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Don't go anywhere. It's Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
1 one match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One one match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
one match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at
Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com halftime show coming to you from Viking Stadium in Lakeland, Florida. I'm Nick Reynolds alongside Earl McDonald. Our halftime score is the Vikings leading the Sentinels 48-22. And, well, as we get into the halftime show here, Earl, it's been 7 touchdowns for the Vikings. They've been all over the Sentinels in the first half.
They absolutely have. The Sentinels have not had any luck at all on defense. They have not been able to stop the Vikings' passing attack. They haven't been able to stop the Vikings' running game. And unless they came up with something at halftime, I fear that the Sentinels are going to get blown out tonight.
And it's been all about the sophomore starting quarterback, Christian Alexander, for the Vikings. He's been sensational, is getting close to setting a new career high and school record in terms of passing yards tonight.
Right, the sophomore, pay attention to that, the sophomore already owns the school record for pass yards in a game. He lit up somebody last year for 255 yards, and tonight he's already 11 for 18 for 234, with 4 of those 11 completions going the distance for a touchdown.
As well as a rushing touchdown as well for the sophomore Christian Alexander. Some other numbers of notes. Presley, 11 rushes for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. Thomas, 2 rushes, 7 yards, and Alexander, 2 rushes. He's got 54 yards on the ground as well to go along with the touchdown. 207 yards rushing for the Vikings to go along with 234 passing yards. They're well on their way to a total of 441 yards in the first half and well on their way to what could turn out to be over 600 yards of offense. On the other side for the Sentinels, it's been a touch-and-go game. They put up 22 points in the first half, Earl, but it's been Perlman, the quarterback, that's been good at times and other times has missed a little bit.
He has. He's got 5 incompletions, and they were all big ones. He does, however, have 8 complete passes that did go for 152 and 2 touchdowns. And if they can accentuate that passing game some in the second half, maybe they can hang with the Vikings, but they've got to find a way to stop the Viking offense, which they just couldn't do in the first half.
And at this point, after one half of football, the Vikings have outrushed 207 yards, the total yardage of the Sentinels. Sentinels, 181 yards of total offense. 4 first downs for the Sentinels, 11 first downs for the Vikings as we're ready to get things started for the second half. That's going to do it for our PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Friday Night Football will return in just a few moments with the start of the second half right here on your destination for high school sports. It's PlayOnSports.com.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
You're watching PlayOnSports.com's presentation of Friday Night Football live from Lakeland, Florida. I'm Nick Grunowitz with Earl McDonald. And after one half of play, the Vikings lead the Sentinels 48-22 as we get ready for the start of the second half. And we welcome you back into the broadcast. We thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. And Earl, we talked about it during the halftime show just a little bit, how dominant this Vikings team has been through one half of football. 48 points, over 400 yards of offense.
Yeah, I mean, they've had 7 offensive possessions and they have 7 touchdowns. And that's really all you need to know. 7 touchdowns in one half of football is pretty much ridiculous. And it's not as if the Sentinels are a bad team. Again, their defense held the first 2 opponents to a combined total of less points than they gave up in the first half to the Vikings.
And at this point, I'm dumbfounded at how this Lakeland Christian Vikings team got shut out last week in Bradenton.
I can't imagine what the defense must be like at that school, because this offense seems like they're unstoppable.
You know, I imagine it being just like the team in the movie Friday Night Lights with Dallas Baptist or Dallas Christian or whatever it was, with 5 players that have signed Division I letters of intent or something like that, because this team has been electric tonight with the ball through the air and on the ground. Of course, Presley's run for 146 yards, Alexander's thrown for 234 of them, and 7 touchdowns, of course, in the first half. As now it'll be Sharp to kick it away. Back to receive will be number 22, Brady Borkowski, who's already returned to kick tonight. It looks like Iskal will be back to return it. He waits at his own 5. And Sharp is ready to kick this one away. We're just about ready to go. And Sharp lining up, looks to his teammates, puts his left arm in the air. Here it comes. Second half is underway. It's a pooch kick near side. And coming over, it is caught at the 35. And the receiver, Deshaun Gary, is blown up there and stopped. And that is where the offense will get started. Carson Perlman, the quarterback, who threw for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns on 8 of 13 through the air in the first half, will get started. He'll have 1st and 10 from his own 35-yard line. Left to right go the Evangelical Christian Sentinels. Lakeland Christian will send a defense that allowed 22 points in the first half. Not necessarily what you're looking for, but then again, they managed the game well and kept Perlman under wraps.
Absolutely, and don't forget, one of their touchdowns was a kick return on special teams, so the defense isn't responsible for one of them.
Perlman sets up in the gun with 4 wide receivers, 3 of them bunched up to the right. Here's the snap. Give to Caesar. He thrashes up the middle into the secondary, pushing his way forward past the 45. He refuses to go down. Across midfield he goes, and he'll be marked on the 49-yard line of Lakeland Christian. How about that? That was a 16-yard run right there from the 35 to the 49. And Caesar just refused to go down, continue to push the pile.
Yeah, it's also really good to see the players from ECS playing with that kind of heart coming out of the second half, because we've used the word blowout already, and apparently ECS is not prepared to give up the game yet. They're still fighting.
1st and 10 from the 48 of the Vikings. Here's the snap. Perlman, quick throw right side. Borkowski with the catch across midfield. He is hit and dropped for a play of what looks to be no gain. He got back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was a big hit by Caleb Thomas, who made the stop. And then earlier on the kick return, they also made another big hit. I'm not sure what player it was. I missed the number.
But 11:14 left in this third quarter. It's 48-22. The Vikings have a 26-point lead, but Sentinels aren't going to go too quietly into the night as Perlman breaks this one out. He'll set up in the gun. A back standing to his right side, and 3 wide receivers bunched to the right, 1 to the left. Borkowski on the inside. Here's the snap and the give up the middle. This is Henson running his way forward, and Henson gets maybe a yard. That sets up 3rd and 10. He gets nothing, back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, the run game was not productive for the Sentinels in the first half. They had 12 carries that only gave them 29 yards. They did have that one big, nice run coming out here in the second half. Maybe they're trying to reestablish the run. I think they need to stick with the air.
Perlman in the gun. It's 3rd and 10 from the LCS 48. Here's the snap. Perlman on the rush, left side, slips a tackle. Gets inside the 45, inside the 40 to the 35, the 30. Up the left sideline he goes, and out of bounds he's pushed. Inside of the 25, they'll mark him at the 21-yard line of the Vikings. A huge run there of 27 yards.
Yeah, it looked like that was a modified option play. He had another player to his left, about a yard behind him, and the defense was a little bit hesitant, and that was all he needed to get up this left sideline.
Perlman ran for 5 yards in the first half. He's already quadrupled that with 1 run here in the second half, and he sets up in the gun. 1st and 10, and just a yard outside of the red zone on the Vikings 21. Ball in the left hash, and Perlman set up in the gun with 3 wide receivers. and a back standing to the quarterback's right. In motion goes Borkowski. Here's the snap. To the right goes Perlman. He's going to keep it. Barreling up the middle. Sliding off a tackler. And falling forward at the 17-yard line. That's a gain of 4 yards. Sets up 2nd and 6. 9:46 left in the third quarter.
Yeah, another nice play by Evangelical Christian. They're looking really good in the second half. They're still playing with a lot of heart. They have definitely not given up this game, and they're trying to put in a touchdown here to start the second half.
And Perlman set up in the gun with 4 wide receivers. He sends Borkowski to the right once again, and some movement early, it looks like. So a flag down. We'll see it's encroachment. It'll go against the defense, and it'll be a 5-yard penalty. This will give us 2nd and 1 on the 5-yard penalty, and Evangelical Christian will move up to the 12-yard line of the Vikings. So that defensive line just moving a little bit too soon. Borkowski's motion always seems to kind of set off that defense to maybe get him to move just a little bit, but Evangelical Christian fortunate that the snap didn't come because Borkowski was moving towards the line. He had not set his feet. As Perlman sets up again with 4 wideouts, the snap to the left side. Perlman looks to throw it, and he throws it away. The ball is intercepted. And this is going to be an easy take back all the way for Lakeland Christian. All the way to the end zone goes Zach Behrens. And just like that, the Sentinels go from knocking on the door to the Vikings kicking it down on top of them. It's 54-22.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to make something happen when he was getting tackled. Again, like a modified option or a little shuttle pass or something to his right. And unfortunately, it went right in the hands of linebacker Patrick Behrens, who took it all the way home for a touchdown.
The 5'10", 175-pound senior linebacker gets that one. And it, just like you mentioned, it looked to me that Perlman was thinking about flipping it off to Caesar, the back, as the extra point is set to be lined up here for Sharp, and just lost the football as he was hit because that option play was working for the Sentinels. But a big interception return for a touchdown gets the Vikings another 7 points, 55-22, a 33-point lead for the Vikings over the Sentinels, and that was, well, just about an 82-yard return, make an 88-yard interception return for a touchdown for Patrick Behrens.
Yeah, that's got to be a very deflating play for the Sentinels. They put the field goal up before the half expired, came out in the second half, took the kick return, started a nice drive. We're eating some clock. We're getting yards. They were trying something different with this modified option, and things were going really well. That's got to be very deflating.
Well, Evangelical Christian will have to look to try to get the momentum going on this next possession as they're already set up to return the next kick. Escal will line up back near his 5-yard line, and Sharp and the rest of the special teams has yet to come out of the huddle. They're lined up on the near sideline here at the 30. But with 8:53 left in the third quarter, the Vikings a 33-point lead. After that touchdown, an interception return by Behrens for 88 yards puts Lakeland Christian on the board first here in the second half. And this is the largest lead of the game for the Vikings, 33 points.
By a wide margin, the largest deficit of the season for Evangelical Christian Sentinels.
They've played 2 close games this year. And I know we've mentioned a couple of times, about 3 or 4 plays away from being 2-0. Instead, the Sentinels are 0-2. Lakeland Christian 1-1. As Sharp boots this one in the air deeper, about the 25, ball caught and brought up the field, cutting left side around tackler is Deshaun Gary, and he's taken down across the 35 to just about the 37, and that is where Evangelical Christian will get started, almost the exact same spot they did to open up the third quarter on their last drive before sophomore quarterback Carson Perlman was intercepted by Patrick Behrens. So with 8:49 left, Evangelical Christian will look to come back out and start once again. But Earl, that has to be frustrating, knocking on the door at the 12 and picked off for the Sentinels.
Yeah, I mean, every possession is critical now in the second half for the Sentinels, and they can't give the ball away like that.
Caesar stands to the right of Perlman, who's in the gun with 4 wide receivers, the ball on the right hash. And motion goes Borkowski, and here comes the snap. Quick throw right side as Scal makes the catch, runs left side downfield. Now he's going to come back upfield trying to get around the end. He's tied up and pulled down for a huge loss back of the 35-yard line at the 34, and that's a 3-yard loss. Sets up 2nd and 13 for the Sentinels. So that last touchdown, the 88-yard interception returned by Behrens, is touchdown number 8 on the game for Lakeland Christian. And they lead this one 55-22. And Lakeland Christian has been all over this Evangelical Christian team since the first buzzer. At one point in time, led it 14-0. And Sentinels got on the board. But it's been pretty much all Vikings as Perlman sets up in the gun with 4 wide receivers. And Perlman looking to the sideline for the play. Pressure being shown up the middle. And here's the snap. Here comes the pressure. Perlman throws this one right side. Scal with the catch behind the defensive backs. Cuts around 2 to the near sideline. He's chased down and fumbles the football. And it's still loose, and recovering it are the Vikings. And that is Lorenz DeShazer who's able to pick it up. Right at the 45-yard line, some more misfortune for Evangelical Christian. That was a big play for a lot of yardage, but instead it turns into a turnover as Iscal fumbles the football.
Yeah, another heartbreaking play for the Sentinels. Iscal made a great catch, and then he got a great block by Grant Young up the field, and it looked like maybe he could make something really big happen. And then the ball pops up into the air loose, and the Vikings recover, and now they come back in on the field with their offense, which has yet to be stopped by Evangelical Christian.
This is the first offensive drive for Christian Alexander and the Vikings. And they get it 1st and 10 on their own 45. Alexander in the gun with 3 wide receivers. 55-22 lead. And here's the snap. And the give to Presley running left side. Huge hole across midfield inside the 40. Cutting back up to the right inside the 30. Inside the 20 and pushed out of bounds is Presley. But there is a flag back here near midfield. Yeah, Presley with another huge gashing run.
Yeah, Deshaun Gary made a great play by the Sentinels to stop him from getting the touchdown. He worked the angle on him and pushed him out of bounds hard. But let's see what the flag is.
It's going to go against the offense, so that run's coming back. So holding will go against Lakeland Christian. It'll be a 10-yard penalty and set up 1st and 20 for the Vikings. Should be placed on the 35.
Fans of the home team will note that if Christian Alexander gets 21 yards of passing here in the second half, he will tie his own school record for yards in a game. 22 yards, of course, and he'll break it.
234 yards of passing in the first half, 255 the record. And Christian Alexander breaks back out of the huddle. 1st and 17 is what they have up there on their own 38. For the Vikings, and Alexander gets behind center. Quick throw left side. This one is off the hands of the wide receiver and incomplete. That one intended for Brad Peace, who had both fingers on it but just couldn't quite get a handle on it. So that sets up now 2nd and 17 from the 38. 7:05 left in the third quarter, 55-22 lead for the Vikings over the Sentinels. And Lakeland Christian showing a very high-powered offense tonight. 7 offensive touchdowns, 1 defensive touchdown. And quarterback Christian Alexander, 4 touchdowns in the air in the first half, 1 on the ground, as well as 2 rushing touchdowns by Raphael Presley. Alexander's in the gun. Here's the snap. Give, and Alexander kept it, throws this one out to the flat. This is White. It's through his hands and incomplete. And now 3rd down coming with 17 to go. 2 drop passes here by the wide receivers, both Jordan White and Brad Peace dropping them on this drive. And instead of it being 3rd down and manageable like it could have been for Lakeland Christian, it's now 3rd and quite long, 17.
And really, it could have been a 1st down after that play, because with the speed that the receivers have for the Vikings, they easily could have turned that into a bigger play.
Ball on the Lakeland Christian 38-yard line as Christian comes out. Christian Alexander, that is, in the gun. 3 wide receivers, 2 left, 1 right, and Presley to the left of the back. Here's the snap, quick throw. White makes the catch near sideline, has some blockers. The near sideline, he goes across midfield and steps out of bounds. They'll mark him down on the Sentinels' 48 and short of the first down. So White pushed out of bounds. They'll give a tackle to Brady Borkowski for pushing him towards the sideline. But if that doesn't happen, it's definitely a first down for White and perhaps more, as he made it near the 30 before being tackled. And is there a punt coming here? Doesn't look like it. Looks to me like Lakeland Christian is going to go for it. They've kept their quarterback in. And we'll have to wait and see exactly what the decision is by head coach Wayne Peace. But some confusion here by the offense as they come out at a timeout called by the Vikings. Couldn't quite figure it out, but it looked to me like Christian Alexander and the offense were going to go for it, and Wayne Pierce was looking for the right personnel. But up 55-22, they're going to go for a first down on 4th down and 3.
Yeah, the special teams have been really strange tonight, and they are past midfield, so maybe they were thinking, we'll go for it if we give it up. They've got the ball, but, it's only a 10 or 20-yard difference. But I would think at this point, certainly play field possession.
So 4th and 3 for this Lakeland Christian team, and head coach Wayne Peace in the middle of the huddle here talking it over with his offense as Evangelical Christian comes out of the timeout. The Sentinels are 0-2, and unless they really get the defense to hunker down here and then get the offense running, they're on their way to 0-3. The Vikings, who are coming off a drubbing, a 35-0 loss last week, are playing like they had a bad taste in their mouth after that loss against Clearwater Christian. That was 35-0. This team looks unstoppable on offense tonight. And Alexander sets up in the gun. They're going to go for it. 4th and 3. 3 wide receivers. And Alexander in the gun, but a flag on the far sideline. This looks to go against the offense. And they're going to say a false start. That's on the wide receiver on the far side. That's Leroy DeShazer who was called for it. So now it looks like a punting situation has come up after that play turns from 4th and 3 to 4th and 8. And back to punt is Thomas. 2 returners go back. Iscal will go back, as well as Gary. And the punt is up. High line drive. This is towards the near sideline, well out of bounds. And where will they mark this one? At the 20, and the referee continues to walk upfield. He'll walk it the 25-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Sentinels from their own 25-yard line when Perlman comes back out in just a moment. But it's 55-22. The Vikings lead the Sentinels. 6:47 left in the third quarter. And Earl, the Sentinels need to get something going offensively here. Their first drive of the third quarter looked promising, but the interception stalled it out.
Yeah, the interception killed it, with it, especially since the Vikings were able to take it all the way back for a touchdown. And their second possession didn't do much better, but they finally stopped the Viking offense.
Perlman in the gun, 3 wide receivers. Here's the snap, plenty of time. Throw out to the middle, and it is caught by the wide receiver past the 35, spinning off a defender and falling short at the 39 of the 40-yard line is the receiver. A very nice catch there and some nice yards after contact as well. And that looked like Iscal who made the catch, either Iscal or Henson.
I believe it was Grant Young on that reception.
Grant Young, 28, not 26. Young had the catch. My mistake. And now a player down for Lakeland Christian. That is Patrick Behrens, who's down on the 40-yard line. He was the one that had the 88-yard touchdown interception return for a touchdown just a couple of moments ago in this third quarter. So he's down. The trainer's looking at him, and they're going to help him up. So Behrens will get up and walk off under his own power. Must have been maybe a cramp or a slight strain perhaps, but he looks to be all right as he slowly jogs off the field, maybe just got the wind knocked out of him. But the play, an extended one, gets a first down for Evangelical Christian. It's 1st and 10 from the ECS 39-yard line. And Perlman will come back out after talking to the coaching staff and head coach Brian Lynch on the sideline for the next play call. Perlman with 2 touchdown passes in the first half. Sentinels put up 22 points. The Vikings had 48, but an interception return for a touchdown gave them 55 here in the third quarter. And Perlman with 3 wide receivers. Here's the snap, and he fumbles the snap, and Perlman dives back on top of it at his own 36. That's a loss of 3, and just like that, it's 2nd and 13.
Yeah, but it was a very smart play by the sophomore quarterback to realizing the snap was bad and seeing where the ball was going to just dive on the ball and get it back so that he didn't lose possession.
So 2nd and 13, Perlman looking at the sideline for the play. Evangelical Christian will head towards the sideline as they have an official timeout with 5:56 left in the third quarter. It's a 55-22 lead for the Sentinels. It's 2nd and 13 from the 36, the Sentinels, as they look to draw up a play here that'll get them their next first down.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups, like the game you're watching here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the Play on Sports school broadcast program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
And we thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Nick Flamme on the camera, Ashley Morrow, our producer today. Alongside Earl McDonald, I'm Nick Runowitz. Once again, a thank you for joining us. The Vikings, a 55-22 lead over the Sentinels here at Viking Stadium in Lakeland, Florida, on the campus of Lakeland Christian High School. And the Evangelical Christian Sentinels have the football 2nd and 13 on their own 36. They move from left to right in the white jerseys and black pants with red helmets. Of course, the Vikings, blue jerseys, black pants, blue helmets. White numbers for the Vikings and red numbers for the Sentinels as the starting quarterback, Perlman, gets in the gun. 4 wide receivers. Here's the snap. Give to the back up the middle. Sheds a tackler and rushes around the left side past the 40. To the 41, 2 yards deep of the 2 yards, past the original line of scrimmage, and that sets up 3rd and about 8, 5-yard run. 5:25 clock continues to run here in the third quarter, and Carson Perlman will set back up in the gun as he looks at the sideline and has the play call. 2 wide receivers set up to the left side with Deshaun Gary on the inside. And 2 wide receivers to the right as well. That's Escal on the inside on the right. And now coming back in, Grant Young, he'll set up as well towards the inside as they look back towards the sideline. Evangelical Christian takes a long time to get set up offensively as they usually look at the sideline 2 and 3 times.
They do, and the receivers come in and out trying to figure out what's going to happen.
Escal in motion right to left, and Perlman gets the snap. Looks left side, will throw left side, ball caught. This is up the middle, up the left hash, past the 45 to the 46 or 45-yard line is where they'll leave it. That's not going to be enough for the first down. That was Deshaun Gary with the catch. And that's going to leave it 4th and about 4 or 5. And Evangelical Christian's going to go for it here. 4th and 3, they'll make it. From the 46, Perlman, 4 wide receivers looking to the sideline. And there's 4 defensive backs for the Vikings. And Perlman gets in the gun once again, puts one in motion. This is Gary moving from left to right. Here's the snap. 3-step drop, lob, right side. This is for Escal, and he makes the catch behind the defensive back. Escal sheds him inside the 15 to the 5, and a touchdown for Escal. There's no flags on the field. That's a 46-yard touchdown pass from Carson Perlman to Riley Escal, the second receiving touchdown of the game for Riley Escal. He had a 64-yarder, and right there, a 48-yarder.
Yeah, Escal has been Mr. Everything for the Sentinels tonight. Punting, kicking. He's got a 39-yard field goal. He's got 2 touchdown receptions, 1 on a deep route, 1 on a screen pass. He's made several tackles. He is not giving up on their chances in this game yet.
And let's not forget that was on 4th and 3 as the snap for the kick is fumbled and the kick is blocked, or the play is broken up, and the kick is no good. The attempt is 55-28. Vikings lead the Sentinels, but the Sentinels not going quietly in this one. They still trail by 27 with 4:11 left in the third quarter. And Earl right there, perhaps Evangelical Christian finding something that's going to work for them, which is going over the top to a scowl. That's the second time they've had a scowl deep. The time before that, it was called back due to a holding penalty.
Yeah, and I think since they've finally stopped the Vikings offense, maybe they've got a little bit of confidence now. Maybe they're going to come out. If they can stop the Vikings again and then put another touchdown in, who knows? It is football. There's still a lot of time left. We're still in the third quarter. Anything is possible, but it's all going to hinge on whether or not they could stop the Vikings offense more than once. That's the only time they've done it tonight is once.
Lakeland Christian will be back to receive, and it'll be Leroy DeShazer who waits deep with Jordan White standing in front of him, and Escal will kick it away.
Yeah, I don't think either of the deep guys are going to see the ball, though. It's either going to be a pooch or another onside.
Yeah, we've seen 4 or 5 onside kicks for Evangelical Christian. None of them have worked, and then a couple of pooch kicks. They've stayed away from both White and DeShazer. As Escal will mark himself off and get ready to kick it from his own 40. And we thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. 55-28 Vikings over the Sentinels here in Lakeland, Florida at Viking Stadium. We're on the campus of Lakeland Christian High School. As Escal set to kick this one away, back to the Vikings. And Escal looks to the side, throws his hands up, and puts foot to rubber. This one's deep. White will take it on a bounce, diving forward. He'll jump on top of it at the 30. So White doing the smart thing there on that kick as it died in front of him. He dove on top of it. And it'll be down right at the 30-yard line for Lakeland Christian as Christian Alexander, the starting quarterback for the Vikings, will come back out and look to lead the offense on another scoring drive. Vikings have 8 touchdowns tonight, 7 of them offensively. Christian involved in 5 of those touchdowns. Well, since the quarterback takes the snap on every play, he's involved in every play, but he's directly involved in 5 of them. 4 throwing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown.
Yeah, and let's not forget that the Vikings are playing this season without their technical starting running back. Their running back of last year, who ran for almost 1,500 yards, out with the torn ACL for the season.
Christian Alexander sets up in the gun with 3 wide receivers. Presley standing to his left, 1st and 10 from the 30. And Alexander keeping himself. Huge hole left side, past the 35 to the 40. Across midfield he goes, has 3 to beat, puts his head down, barrels forward inside the 40. And they'll mark him down at the 36-yard line. That was a huge run of just about 49 yards for Christian Alexander. Make that 44 yards for Christian Alexander.
Yeah, huge run.
First and 10 from the 36. Go ahead, Earl.
He's big enough to power through guys, and he's fast enough to beat almost everybody on the field. So once he broke through the line, he was gone. Fortunately, the secondary was able to stop him from getting a touchdown.
Alexander in the gun, 4 wide receivers, 1st and 10 from the Sentinel 36. And a pass left side, and it is through the hands of the wide receiver and incomplete. Looking for Brad Peace, who's juggled and missed a couple tonight. But the defensive backs for the Sentinels have been pretty good as well. 55-28 Vikings lead. With 3:45 left in the third quarter. It's about 3 or 4 drops for Peace tonight. He always seems to be catching the ball across the middle, though, and that's kind of a precarious situation to be in. You need to haul the ball in, but at the same time, make sure you protect yourself.
Yeah, very tough spot. And that time it looked like he might have hurt an ankle or a leg.
2nd and 10. Alexander gets the snap. Quick throw right side, and this one is incomplete off the hands of DeShazer. The pass was wild and just a little bit up the field of DeShazer, who had to dive back behind himself and still almost made a nice grab. And that's now 3rd and 10. 3:41 left in the third quarter. But one more completed pass here for Christian Alexander, and he'll surpass his yards mark. He had 8 on the previous one, needs 3 more. So 55-28, the Vikings lead the Sentinels. Alexander in the gun. 3 wide receivers, the snap. Give to Presley up the middle. He sheds a couple tacklers. Left side, cuts inside the 20. 1 to beat. He's going to get to the sideline, gets the step, and that's a touchdown. 36-yard rushing touchdown for Raphael Presley. That's the 3rd rushing touchdown for Presley tonight. Had 2 in the first half. And the Vikings have 61 points with the extra point still coming.
Yeah, Presley's just too fast. He gets gets through the line, and then he makes a couple of quick juke moves, and nobody for the Sentinels can catch him.
Sharp to attempt.
Presley with rushing touchdowns of 8, 30, and 36. Pardon that, 8, 74, and 36 tonight. That's 3. Had 146 yards rushing in the first half as the extra point is through and good. It's 62-28 with 3:33 left in the third quarter. Here from Viking Stadium, the Vikings are all over the Sentinels in this one. It'll be the Sentinels to receive when play resumes.
Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/playonnetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, playonsports.com.
And we do thank you for joining us here on playonsports.com alongside Earl McDonald. I'm Nick Grunowitz. We're here in Lakeland, Florida on the campus of Lakeland Christian High School. The Vikings, the home team, all over the visiting Evangelical Christian Sentinels, 62-28. 8 offensive touchdowns for the Vikings, 1 interception return for a touchdown. That was here in the third quarter as well, so 9 touchdowns altogether. And Lakeland Christian with a very healthy lead. Right now it stands 62-28 as Sharp will kick this one away. Grady Sharp, the 6'1", 165-pound kicker, is a junior. And he'll put the ball on the left hash at the 40. And Escal is back to receive for the Sentinels. As Sharp takes his time here. It's a very nice and cool windy night here in Lakeland, Florida. Wind blows from left to right across the field. Here's the kick, and it's a pooch kick to the far side at the 30. Ball caught. Up the field goes the receiver, slides past a couple of tacklers and gets past the 40. And they'll mark that one down near the 41-yard line. And that was Caesar with the return. Chris Caesar, the 8th grader, 5'6" running back. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the 40 for the Sentinels. Evangelical Christian has struggled offensively here in the second half. Knocking on the door at the 12-yard line, sophomore quarterback Carson Perlman was intercepted. That interception was taken back for a touchdown. They did get a touchdown on the next possession, a 48-yard touchdown reception by Escal, but still down huge, 62-28.
Yeah, and I would look for Escal to be going deep on about every other play for the rest of this game because they've got to get some points up.
Here's the snap, give to the back up the middle. Caesar sidewinding his way through, almost is stripped and falls short of midfield. They'll mark him down at the 49. That's an 8-yard carry. Sets up 2nd and 2. They might mark him in midfield. No, he's at the 49. 2nd and 1. They'll mark him right at midfield, that is. Perlman set up once again in the gun. It's 2nd and 1. And Perlman looking to the sideline, gets the snap, fumbles it, falls on top of it. They'll mark him down at the 46. Second fumbled snap of the night for Evangelical Christian. And Perlman able to jump on it both times, but yardage is lost there. It's now 3rd and probably 4.
Yeah, not only yardage, but it's another lost opportunity. I mean, if he'd gotten that snap, maybe Escal gets separation on his defender again, and who knows, they could have had another touchdown. They can't afford to lose any plays due to miscues or penalties for the rest of this game if they have any hope of trying to climb back.
Loss of 4, it's 3rd and 5 with 2:16 left in the third quarter. And Perlman, looking to the sideline, has the play as Carson comes back out into the gun. Caesar stands to his right. There's 4 wide receivers out there. 2 to the right, and now 3 to the right make it as one goes in motion. Here's the snap. And a fake little pitch there by Perlman as he rushes up the middle, but is well short of the first down, and that play goes for a no gain. It's 4th and 5.
Yeah, and I think at this point in the game, anything past the 30-yard line is going to be 4-down territory for ECS if they're going to try and climb back into this game.
4th and 4, Perlman is going for it all the way, and Perlman sets up in the gun. Remember the last time that Evangelical Christian went for it on 4th down, it resulted in a touchdown As pressure being shown up the middle, the snap, give to Caesar, up the middle he goes, and falling forward will get the first down. Across midfield and to the 47-yard line, make it 48-yard line of Lakeland Christian goes the 8th grade running back, and he gets a new set of downs. 1st and 10, they'll mark it at the 48 of Lakeland Christian.
Yeah, that was a very gutsy call, sort of a reverse psychology that everybody would have assumed they were going to pass, so they ran it right up the gut, and they were able to just eke out the first down. 4
wideouts, Perlman in the gun. Here's the snap. Give to Caesar, rushing right side, spinning forward. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, but nothing more. So 1 minute and 6 seconds left here in the third quarter. 62-28, Vikings over the Sentinels. It's a 34-point lead. And it's 2nd and 10 from the 48 of Lakeland Christian. As Perlman looks at the sideline, we're under a minute. And that's another thing for this Evangelical Christian team. They take a long time between plays as well to go to the sideline.
They do. It's going to make a comeback very challenging.
Here's the snap. 3-step drop. This one's towards the numbers. It's dropped and incomplete. Intended wide receiver was Grant Young, the 5'11", 10th grader, who had it in his hands but just dropped it. Would have been close to a first down, probably short of about 3, but instead of 3rd and 3, it's now 3rd and 10, and Perlman looking to the sideline once again. Attendance tonight, 1,261 fans coming out to see the Lakeland Christian Vikings host the Evangelical Christian Sentinels. Vikings 1-1, Sentinels 0-2. And now in the gun is Perlman once again, and of course the home fans enjoying this one. Their team up by 34. As Perlman's in the gun with 4 wide receivers, it's 3rd and 10. Here's the snap. Throw across the middle. This is Escal with the catch inside the 30, and he's upended at the 27-yard line. That's a first down. 21-yard pass from Perlman to Escal. That's the only hookup that seems to be working right now for Evangelical Christian.
It is, and they've got to keep going back to it if they want to try and get back closer to this game, because the other receivers are having problems with drops, and the running game is producing a few yards here and there, but nothing consistent.
Perlman in the gun with 4 wide receivers again, and here's a lob to the left side. Ball caught. This is Borkowski who brings it up the left sideline for a gain of 4 or 5, and that's going to set up 2nd and 5. 7 seconds left in the third quarter. That'll be the last play of the quarter as the clock expires here. And it's 62-28. The Vikings lead the Sentinels. Fourth quarter coming up. But after 3 quarters of play here at Viking Stadium, the Lakeland Christian Vikings, a 34-point lead, 62-28 over the Evangelical Christian Sentinels. And Earl, this third quarter, really quiet. Just 2 touchdowns scored for the Vikings. One of them on the defensive side. The Sentinels get a touchdown as well.
Yeah, I think both teams are actually trying to slow the game down. It looks like the Vikings are trying to slow it down because they don't want to, well, let's face it, they don't want to run it up too much. And Evangelical's trying to slow it down because they don't want the Vikings offense on the field if they can avoid it. And the result is a quicker third quarter, but a lot less scoring than we saw in the first half.
So we're going to get started with the fourth quarter in just a moment here, but it's 62-28, and we do thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
Raphael Presley with a rushing touchdown in the third quarter. He has 3 on the game, and Christian Alexander continuing a very strong game here tonight. That's 5 touchdowns for him, 4 of them through the air, 1 on the ground for the sophomore quarterback. And really the most surprising thing that I have to say tonight is that this starting quarterback still has 2 years of high school left as well after this. As the snap by Perlman, he throws the football and fumbles it. Ball is loose on the ground on the near sideline. It's picked up by Lakeland Christian and brought back to midfield. That, once again, is Patrick Behrens as he takes it back to midfield. Another turnover here for Evangelical Christian.
Unfortunately, it looks like it also might be another injury. Behrens is still down, stretching out his legs.
So Behrens down on the field right now at midfield. 11:49 left. We're 11 seconds in here to the fourth quarter. At another player down, but it looks to me like Behrens is just getting stretched out. It looks like perhaps the heat of the day, and of course after playing as many snaps as he has, you end up with cramps, strains, pulls, whatever it may be. The training staff working that out right now. But the Vikings with a huge lead, 62-28.
Yeah, and Vikings fans could be able to see here at home several school records fall tonight in this fourth quarter. There are several that could go down. Right now, Christian Alexander has 4 touchdown passes, which is his own personal best, and has him tied with 2 other quarterbacks from Lakeland Christian's history for the record. If he gets one more touchdown pass, he'll be alone with 5. One more pass completion at all should give him the single-game yardage record. And also, I believe the single-game rushing yards record is within reach for Presley. I believe he's about 30 or 40 yards away from the single-game rushing record as well.
Well, Behrens is down on the field for now, but they're going to get him up and walk him off. So Behrens seems to be all right. That was an elongated time to be down on the field, but it looks to be like he's all right. The trainer's keeping close watch and a short leash on him, though, as he comes to the near side near the stands. So with 11:49 left in the fourth quarter, the Vikings have that large lead, and Evangelical Christian just turned the ball over on a fumble as starting quarterback Carson Perlman looked to pump fake the ball and dropped it, and then tried to dive on it, but Behrens was able to pick it up. So Behrens with a fumble recovery and an interception return for a touchdown off an interception return in this game as well. So Lakeland Christian coming out. This could be a record-setting drive for the Vikings as Christian Alexander comes out and sets up in the gun. He has Jordan White on the outside of the left, and he has DeShazer on the outside of the right with 4 wide receivers. Here comes the snap. Quick throw right side. DeShazer with the catch inside the 40, inside the 35. He's upended at the 30 and taken down, and that is a 20-yard pass. That's a record-setting pass right there. Alexander is able to surpass his all-time game record of 255 passing yards that he set last year. And now Alexander will look to add on here as it's 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line of the Sentinels. Another touchdown pass would, of course, give him a school record, like Earl mentioned, of 5 in a game. He's tied for the record right now with 4. Alexander in the gun, 3 wide receivers, and Presley to his right. Here comes the snap. Presley will take it. Left side, getting around the end. Presley cuts in. Inside the 20, sheds a tackler. Inside the 15, he's pulled down and pushed down from behind, just short of the 10-yard line. Presley continues to impress, might I say, and he'll set up 1st and 10 on just about the 12-yard line.
Yeah, and Presley's, it's not just that he's fast, he's also very agile and changes direction so quickly. The ECS Sentinels defenders just are having a brutal time trying to keep up with him and trying to stop him.
Lakeland Christian on the doorstep, and Christian Alexander behind center with a strong eye. Presley the deep back and 3 wide receivers. White on the outside of the right. Here's the snap. Give to Presley up the middle. He barrels into the 5. Hit at the goal line, pushing forward. Presley has a touchdown, and it's 68, to 28. A 40-point lead for the Vikings. And for Presley, that's touchdown number 4 in this game. 10:46 left in the fourth quarter. And if you're thinking about perhaps a record, it's 6 that T.J. Simmons set last year against Santa Fe for the Vikings. So Presley still 3 short of setting a new record, 2 short of tying it, as Sharp will kick through the extra point. But the Vikings with a huge 40-point lead here. And Sharp's extra point is good. It's a 41-point lead, 69-28, and the 1,261 fans that have come out to this game enjoying just a huge offensive output from Lakeland Christian and the Vikings, as Evangelical Christian, the Sentinels, will set to receive this one after everyone gets set up once again. But right there, Earl, Presley just refusing to be denied. He takes a 12-yard run into the end zone.
He does, and that time it was as if he'd heard us, and we were talking about his speed and his quickness and his agility, and he decided to show us his strength by powering right through several would-be tacklers and pulling several of them into the end zone with him.
He hit one of his own blockers as well at the 5-yard line. That slowed him down for just a moment, but Presley able to push his way through That's the second rushing touchdown of the second half for Presley. He has a 36 and a 12-yarder in the second half. Altogether, the rushes of 74 yards, 8 yards, 36, and 12 for Presley on a very, very impressive night for this junior 5'10", 165-yard running back. And now Lakeland Christian will set to kick it off. And Escal will wait for a kick that's most likely not going to come. We've seen a whole lot of pooch kicks tonight to just about the 30-yard line of the opponents.
Yeah, I wouldn't look for anything different here. I'm sure it's going to be another pooch.
I'm not sure if you've noticed, Earl, but with the lead where it is, they've gone with a running clock. 9:46 remaining as the clock continues. And here's a pooch in the air. This is towards the 40. Fair catch called. Ball is loose and a flag down. This is going to be for hitting the fair catch caller. Ball is down at the 40. And they're going to say it's recovered by Evangelical Christian.
I believe it was Joseph Marsalak that fell on it, just in case. But
number 57, the senior.
Yeah, the penalty, I believe, would have kept the possession for ECS either way.
And we'll see as the referees confer here. The ball is near the 40. Should be a 15-yard penalty on a personal foul. They should take it near midfield. We'll have to look. They'll call it against the kicking team. And we'll see where they'll pace this one off. 8:51, the clock continues to run while they look at this as well. 41-point lead for the Vikings, 69-28. This will really quicken up the fourth quarter as they have the penalty go against the defense. It was at the 40. They'll mark this one off. And will they re-kick it?
It looks like they're going to re-kick.
They will re-kick it. So a re-kick coming as both teams will send the special teams back out. And the clock continues to run here. We'll be lucky if we see another maybe 2 possessions from both teams here. So that touchdown record for Christian Alexander, I hate to sound disappointed, of course, in jeopardy. He might not get another chance to touch it.
Yeah, it might just be another game where he ties himself again.
8 minutes left, and the re-kick is coming. And the referees now are going to confer once again. This is some sort of a misunderstanding, as the referees are just looking for a new ball. Of course, they have the quarterback's ball and then the kicker's ball in this game. The kicker, of course, gets to use his own ball, and then they switch it out time and time again. But it looks like they're not going to re-kick this now.
No, it looks like they're bringing it back to figure out where the spot was for the penalty.
This is kind of a mess for a moment here. Evangelical Christian set to get the ball. They've run 3 minutes off the clock in this time. I don't want to assume anything, of course, but perhaps the referee is just trying to help lessen the blow for Evangelical Christian here just a bit.
That could be.
It looks like the offense will get started 1st and 10 from their own 44-yard line. And Perlman in the gun fumbled it his last time out, turned the ball over, and Lakeland Christian turned it into a touchdown run up the middle for the Sentinels, and that gets 4 yards. Sets up 2nd and 6, 6:53 left in the game, and the clock continues to run.
Yeah, the home team did get to see one school record fall, the pass yardage in a game, and they may have seen another one fall with Presley's rush yards in the game. We don't have the official stats yet from the second half to be sure, but it was certainly close.
2-yard carry it was, 2nd and 8. Perlman with the snap. Give to the back up the middle. He winds near midfield and upended at the 49, a yard short. That was J.D. Johnson, the running back, 5'6", 9th grader. And he gets 4. Sets up 3rd and just about 5 or 6, we'll say. 3rd and 5. And Perlman looking at the sideline for the call once again. We're under 6 minutes here in the fourth quarter. 69-28. 41-point game. It's been all Lakeland Christian tonight. And here comes the snap for the Sentinels quarterback Perlman, who surveys the defense. Here it comes. Pump fake, right side. Perlman in trouble, running for his life. Outside across midfield, and he is hit, pulled down hard. This is just short, it looks, of the first down, near the 47, 48-yard line of the Vikings.
Yeah, once he took off running, he realized he was about to cross the line of scrimmage, so he just went ahead and sped up as much as he could, tried to get to first. He ended up just a hair short.
And it looks to me like there's an official timeout there on the field, so 5:25 the clock will stop. It's 69-28. The Vikings lead the Sentinels here as both teams are going to talk it over. 4th and 1 on the 47 of the Vikings for Evangelical Christian when play resumes.
Stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com postgame show, where we will select our player of the game as well as wrap up all the action from this ball game. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
And we do thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com alongside Earl McDonald. I'm Nick Reynolds. We have Nick Flamia up in the camera's nest and Ashley Morrow running the production for us tonight. Thank you to them for their time. The attendance tonight, 1,261 here at Viking Stadium in Lakeland, Florida, on the campus of Lakeland Christian High School. A very nice turnout for this team that came in 1-1 and now is looking to go to 2-1. That's the home team. Evangelical Christian has a 4th and 1 here and most likely on their way to an 0-3 start to the season. As Perlman sets up in the gun, here's the snap. Give to the back, up the middle. He's stuffed, fighting forward, and he'll get there for the first down. That looked like Hansen, and it was. Austin Hansen, the senior running back, 5'7", gets the first down. And we're at the 5-minute mark here in the fourth quarter as they have a running clock with a 41-point game here. And Evangelical Christian will move the chain gang and get a new set of downs. It's 1st and 10 from the Vikings' 46-yard line. Perlman in the gun. 4 wide receivers out there, 2 to the left and 2 to the right. Here's the snap. Quick throw, left side, ball caught. This is Gary as he fights his way up the middle. Inside the 40 he goes, slips a tackle inside the 35 and falling down. They'll mark him down at the 34, a 12-yard play, and it's a first down for the Sentinels.
Yeah, it was great to see Deshaun Gary make a play like that, playing hard, down big, running clock, and he said, you know what, I've got the ball, I'm going to do everything I can with it. It was good to see that.
1st and 10 from the Vikings 34, Lakeland Christian setting up the defense here, and the Sentinels getting ready with Perlman, the quarterback, in the gun, and 4 wide receivers. In motion goes Gary, left to right. Here's the snap. Give to Gary, running right side, slides off a tackler, running up the right side around the end, and he fights forward for a hard-fought 3 yards. 3:51, clock continues to run. They'll mark him down at the 31-yard line. That's a gain of 3. It's 2nd and 7. 69-28, Vikings lead the Sentinels. And Perlman looking at the sideline for the play. Perlman in the gun. Gary in motion. Here's the snap. Give to the back. Fighting up the middle. Into the secondary he goes, inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. And that's a run of about 8 yards. That should be a first down, and it is. That was Henson again. 3:08, clock continues to run. 1st and 10 on the 23-yard line of the Vikings. Perlman setting up in the gun. A back stands to his left, and 4 wide receivers. And here's the snap. Give to the back, up the middle. And he's hit at the line of scrimmage. Wrestled forward for 3 yards. Make it 2. And right there, that's going to set up 2nd and 8. But Earl, Lakeland Christian putting on an offensive show tonight. The Evangelical Christian Sentinels, whether the offense showed up or not, it was going to be a shootout because Lakeland Christian was not going to be denied.
Yeah, that offense is just full of weapons, and every single weapon was firing and firing well tonight.
Perlman with the snap, looking right side. He's going to get around the end, flips to Gary around the inside of the 20, and falling forward out the sideline to about the 18-yard line. That's a 3-yard play. That should still set up 4th down, make it 3rd down.
And with all the offensive skill players tonight, we didn't even get a chance to talk about 3 guys that were key to that entire offense. And that's the 910 pounds of 3 offensive linemen for the Vikings. They've got 3 guys that combine for 910 pounds, all at least 6'2", and they set up everything from the pass protection for Christian Alexander to the running game.
3rd and 5, Perlman with the snap. Gives it the back, up the middle, barreling forward, and tripped up inside of the 15-yard line. This should be enough for a first down. They'll mark it a first down. 1:25 left. Clock continues to run. And at this point, the Sentinels playing just for pride, looking for one more touchdown to hang on this Vikings defense. And Perlman will set back up. And Earl, you make a very good point. Those players listed to play two ways, but tonight head coach Wayne Peace keeping them on the offensive line as Perlman gets the snap. Throw left side, Gary with the catch, and he's hit in the backfield. And that play's going to go for a loss. But back to these linemen that were used just as offensive linemen. That helps for the rest.
Absolutely it does. Javonte Williams, Houston May, and Cody Averett are the three linemen we've been talking about. And at 910 pounds, they probably get exhausted if they played both ways tonight. And by being able to play fresh every time the offense had the ball, they really helped spark that offense.
2nd and 14, 32 seconds left. Pass is tipped up in the air and falls incomplete. That one intended across the middle for Burris.
Just a reminder, your Vikings return to action next Friday night.
So 20 seconds left, maybe one more play left in this game. 69-28, and the fans for the Vikings, who have the lead, already starting to exit the stadium. Perlman looking to the sideline. This should do it. I don't think Perlman's going to get this play off as he looks towards the far sideline at head coach Brian Lynch. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and the referee is going to wave this one off. Do we have a timeout here? Yes, a timeout. They're going to line up for a field goal.
All right. Why not?
It's a spit in the ocean at this point in time, Earl, but why not? They're going to bring out Escal to kick a field goal.
Perhaps he's going for a team record we don't know about.
So Escal will line up. They'll hold it at the 24, so this should be a 34-yard attempt. Escal already tonight with a 39-yarder. He'll kick from between the hashes, 2.4 seconds left. This is to get the Sentinels to 31. One kick blocked tonight already. And the snap is back. Hold is down. Escal's kick is up in the air, end over end. Does it have enough? Definitely does. Kick is good as time expires, and the Sentinels fall. Instead of by 41, they fall by 38. I've seen everything now. But this game is done with. The Vikings win it 69-31, and that is going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We invite you to stay tuned to our PlayOnSports.com post-game coverage. We'll wrap up the game and the action of the post-game show. We'll have an interview with our player of the game. That's coming up in just a few moments. Once again, the Vikings have defeated the Sentinels 69-31 on Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP. can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.